My peoples, my peoples, my people. What's the deal, man? My ass, bro. I thought I was live in here, bro. I wasn't even live, bro. Slow as hell on some slow shit today. But listen, man. I don't know who's gonna show up in here, bro, but I appreciate you if you do. Regardless, we got two hip hop enthusiasts going back and forth. We got Maul and Rory. I mean, not Marlon Rory, sorry. Well, it is Maul and Rory's show, but it's DJ Head versus Maul. You know, opinion for opinion about the Kendrick and Drake beef and the battle and everything of that nature. So we're gonna get into it, man. This is a lengthy video right here. So I'm pretty sure it's probably like full of funny moments, full of like very revealing moments. I'm about to leave that fluffy shit alone for a minute. You know, all of these people got me reacting to all kind of fluffy shit, but I want to get on some hip hop shit, so that's what we on right now, baby. We on some hip hop shit. You dig? Yes, sir. Now, yo, I do got a goal I want to, you know, talk to y'all about real quick. It's just a little, you know, it's just a little like a 10 till super chat goal. You feel me? Like a little 2-hour goal that I got up there, man. If y'all want to support, go ahead and give on to that. You know, give to that. It's like $5 or whatever. You know, just to support me while I do this type of stuff. So yeah, I guess I'll give you guys like at least a minute or two to see if anybody pop up in here. Not sure if people will. I don't even know if half the damn subscribers that I have are interested in this type of stuff, but whatever, man. This is what I'm interested in, so hopefully it finds the right people and y'all come up in here and talk y'all shit, because I need some shit talkers in here today, man. I really do. So I'm gonna give y'all a couple more minutes and shit, you know. Couple more minutes, man. How y'all doing today? I hope everybody out there is feeling amazing. You know, don't be afraid to leave comments, sub the page, like the page, share if you will. So without further motherfucking ado, man, DJ Head and Maul reflect on Drake versus Kendrick beef 1 year later. Give them a round of applause, man. Let's get the fuck to it right now.
Welcome to our 1 year anniversary of the greatest battle in hip hop history with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. We are here to celebrate with two of the biggest media personalities of the entire battle. Damaris, I felt like these were the best two to bring in to really break down everything that happened a year ago.
I agree. Representation for both camps.
Yeah.
We will start with our first guest, hailing from Carson, California. Go figure. Had no idea. Media personality, legendary DJ, and the Coast Guard, from what I'm told. I have yet to see him swim, but we are joined by our family, DJ Head.
West Coast, we in the building.
Yay, studio audience.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate, you know, being here. I get to sit on Rory and Maul's set.
Yeah.
This is what an honor. I just talk like this. I'm not being sarcastic.
That's fine. And in the other corner, I do not know his height and weight because I am not built like that, and he would find that offensive if I did. Hailing from the Bronx,
Absolutely.
Fordham to be exact,
Preston Ave.
we have the one and only Maul.
I got a question.
I'm here every day for the last like 12 years. Like, you don't have to clap for me.
I got a question.
What's up?
You know, like you said when he said you from the Bronx, and then you said the street. Is that normal? Like that's some East Coast shit?
No, but if you say you're from the Bronx is so big.
No, I know that, but that's like saying I'm from Carson, but then I wouldn't say like Diamonddale because I don't know. Like I always find that interesting about like New Yorkers because even like Wayno does that. Like other people do that where like it'd be like, yeah, this is my block, and it's like I would never tell a nigga where my block is, like for safety reasons. Like,
Oh no, I don't still live there.
no, I know that, but I'm just saying. Well, no,
you
niggas
guys
do.
You guys tell with your fingers, paws, and your mouth that is
I
exactly
can
where
see
you're
that.
from.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, to me, that raises safety concerns. Like, I would never say the street that I live on or my family is still there type.
But
shit.
Creston is a long.
Oh, okay, got you.
And Fordham is a street, but it's also like an area.
It's an area
more or
of the
less.
Bronx.
Like
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
That's
not
like
gonna-
when we say Crenshaw. It's a street, but it's
Exactly.
also an area.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, like we from Detroit. You know, I'm from Detroit, and I might say Joy Road. You feel me? We throw that up like that. You feel me? It's a pretty long street. You know what I'm saying? We gotta say, because a motherfucker gonna ask you where you from. You gotta be specific though, where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get where he coming from though. But anyway,
Exactly
All right,
the
that
same.
makes sense.
so we didn't dock Small. He's just
No,
I was just like-
I mean,
I just-
if
he don't
anybody
even
want
be
to go
in
to
Fordham
Creston
anymore.
and look for me up there, be my guest.
No,
just
it's
don't
just,
call me. If
I
something
always hear New Yorkers say that. I'm like, damn, he just gonna say the street he live on?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not a small street. Very,
Yeah.
very big block.
Well, I want to start with piece, something that you guys do agree on and something that actually makes me very happy. The Lakers are the fuck out of the playoffs. Thank God we can clap for that as well. I know both of you are very
Clapping
sad.
for that.
Maul, for some reason, is a Lakers fan. I don't understand
Die
it,
hard,
but
die hard Lakers
Yeah,
fan.
he's on the right side of history.
Die hard Lakers fan.
not this year. But I'm a Knicks fan, so.
I'm
can
sorry
talk?
to hear that.
So I feel like we should start at the absolute beginning of this entire thing, right before the battle even started. I want to go to the control verse. Because DJ Head is our guest, we will let him go first. Do you think the subtle shots Kendrick and Drake threw at each other post-control were serious or just for sport?
I think it's all sport. It's always been sport up until it wasn't.
At what point was it not?
I think once, I mean, we'll get there, I'm sure, but like once lines get crossed and stuff like that, then I think that it starts to take it outside of the realm of sports. It's no different than like you seen like Ron Artest or Latrell or Draymond or it's sport until it's not. You know what I'm saying?
What line was crossed?
When from control,
Or any line?
that was later on.
Okay.
That was later on. But from the control, it was just like once that was all
pure
like
competition.
sport, and it was just like get in the booth.
Okay.
I feel you. Then there was a rumor, which I think both you guys have some background on. Kendrick was supposed to be on first-person shooter, or what became first-person shooter. And there was some type of disagreement between Kendrick and Drake. Both of you being insiders, can you tell us what really happened when Drake reached out to Kendrick to get him on what became first-person shooter? Head, we can start with you or Maul, depending on.
I don't know what happened.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure what happened. I do know that obviously he was supposed to be on the record. I don't know if he just decided he didn't want to do it because he had other plans, or if it was just a timing thing and he was taking too long to send the verse back and they moved on without him. I mean, I don't know for sure. I've never had that conversation, but I mean, whatever it is, I don't think it was nothing that, is a real reason of why this battle may have started because he didn't get on the record. I believe that he had a plan and he was like, this really will go against everything that I'm planning on doing. So.
Okay, so you believe that he had no intention of getting on that, and that the Like That verse was going to happen regardless of J. Cole and Drake going on tour together, hugging on stage, talking about the big three, sort of, but it's us because you're at home and we're holding hands. Do you think it had anything to do with that?
Do I think it has something to do with Drake and J. Cole being on stage on tour together and Kendrick not liking seeing that?
And it being a #1 record?
I mean, maybe. I think that, the record happened. I don't know if Kendrick thought that them three on a record, I mean, he probably did assume that it would be a #1 record with them three on it, but I don't think that was him seeing them rejoice and have their moment on stage together. He was like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm dissing these niggas. Like, I don't think that was it. I think he had this premeditated for a while and just, again, for sport. I think it started as sport, and then I think it turned into something else. I think it started as just, I don't want to be boxed in or grouped in with y'all. I feel like I'm better than both of y'all, which is cool. As an MC and as a rapper, you're entitled to that. But I think it turned into something else after it was just sport.
How do you feel the same way?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think it's like as complicated as people like to make it out to be. Like they try to make it out to be like this huge folklore type thing. I don't think it's that. It's really it's simple. I don't really have insight on if he was supposed to be on the record or not. I haven't discussed that with anyone. But if he was supposed to be on the record, then I mean I know the speculation. I'm not an idiot. You know what I'm saying? But if he was supposed to be on the record, then he I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that he would have delivered on it. But I think it's just sport.
Do you think Kendrick had been plotting this like that verse, or at least this battle, for years? Because that was always the rumor, even from people on his side, that this was something that he had been plotting for quite some time. Then Drake ironically said he was going to stop making music for a little while, and then we get the like that verse.
No.
What? Pure coincidence.
No, it's not coincidence. It's just the verbiage. Like the verbiage you used was plotting. Plotting is a verb, meaning that there was action being taken. I don't think that he was plotting. I think that you're ready. Like, I'm a registered firearm owner in the state of California. I'm not plotting on anyone, but I'm ready for whatever. I think that's
yeah. As a rapper and MC, I think every rapper is has that mindset. I'm always ready.
Yeah.
I think every rapper has bars directed at other rappers, but in this case with Drake, I think that any rapper would want to get into a back and forth with Drake. It helps you out. No?
So do you think he was plotting more? Because you said what pretty loud.
No.
Well, I see what Head is saying, plotting. I don't know if that's the word, but planning, I think is a better word. Preparing is a better word. But why not? I think every artist is. We're talking about one of the biggest artists in the world, and if I have the opportunity to have a moment with him going back and forth, making music and displaying my skill set, why would I not want to do that?
Well, do you think because Kendrick, The Weeknd, Metro, Future, and Ross all teamed up around the exact same time, that there was not a plan or a plot to go against Drake all at the exact same time?
I think that's one of those, when people get the opportunity to show you how they really felt, they just waiting for the first person to go. And then other people start expressing their true feelings and emotions. I think that's what that was. I think everybody secretly had some, for the last, 15, 16 years, Drake has been on top, dominating music. I think other artists see that, and I don't know if jealousy is the word to use, but I think other artists feel some type of way, and then they hear bars and they're like, man, I think I could go at him. I think I could get him on a verse. All these guys have songs with him. So there's a relationship, but I think it starts, like Head said, I think it's a competitive thing first. I think after a while, it goes into a little bit of a, more personal thing. Like, when a lot of guys, numbers aren't doing as well if they don't have a song with him, or, he sends he doesn't send verses back as fast as he used to, or he's not sending records like he once was. I think that starts to turn into like, damn, he don't fuck with me, or, is it an issue? Change of a number or something like that. You know how those things happen, and then it turns into, all right, well, fuck him.
Head, would you agree?
No.
You have the floor?
Elaborate, yeah.
So I don't think I don't think it's like a grandioso conspiracy. I don't think that people was plotting and waiting, or I don't even think that it was a jealousy thing, or even that had anything to do with his music. I think if you're a shitty person to people, regardless of what you do, like I have homies, I have homegirls who they nigga told them that they love them, and then they would do shit to counter that, right? Whether it be through verbally or physically. Mm-hmm. So regardless of what I do for you, regardless of what I do for you, I can't just be like a shitty person to you on top of that and just be like, all right, everything's good now. Mm-hmm. So I think that there are things like, obviously, we all know like Head is cryptic. Head don't like to talk about nothing. I just not willing to, everything for me ain't content. So I'm not willing to divulge like, this nigga did this to this person. And then it's just that when your character is not wholesome and you violate the sanctity of certain relationships, yes, certain people are probably going to feel a way towards you, mm-hmm. regardless of what stimulus package you've given them in the past. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. So if you violate the relationship, I think that, yeah, people are going to feel a way about you.
For sure. I mean, that's a life thing, away from us talking about some of the biggest artists in the world. I think that's life. I think if you have a relationship with somebody and then, it changes, and then the person starts treating you some type of way, and then it's obviously emotions and feelings change. Not saying that I think that's what happened here. But again, I do think that some of it is, if Drake doesn't, give me a verse or doesn't do a song with me, like I sent him a record, he didn't send it back, but then he did an album, an entire project with somebody.
So I don't think that would be the case for Kendrick, but I think that some artists definitely have that that bone to pick with Drake, maybe. But I think back to even when Common and Drake were going head to head. And then I believe he had a situation with Swiss Beats, and then he had a situation with Pharrell. And it's like, at that point, when you think about some of these more peaceful figures in rap music that don't really step out of line and get violent with people or want to make diss tracks, even though Common's known for dissing certain people, like in the past, like I think he did a battle with Ice Cube before, or a back and forth with Ice Cube. But when you think about it, most of the time he's rapping about peace and love and unity and things of that nature. And Swiss Beats just trying to make a bop or a banger that the streets can fuck with, or Pharrell is just trying to make some vibey ass shit that the women can dance to. But you beefing with all of these people. All of these people got problems with you. It's got to be something way more deeper than just a Drake stimulus package, like DJ had said. It's got to be something way deeper than that. So I don't always know the full details of why the beef start, but I know that it is something related to maybe a female, or, you know, something along those lines where, you know, people are finding themselves disrespected by Drake.
And I still never got my verse. I think that leaves room for somebody to feel away.
I agree, but there's also, so again, there's more things at play here. So like if example, Rory put out an album.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Rory
Available
wanted
now.
to,
Available now.
Right.
All DSPs.
Because he did drop one.
On
Your
all
album's
of the DSP.
your album's out now. Okay. Rory put out an album. Let's say let's say it went platinum.
I didn't like that laugh. I didn't like that laugh. The whole time you've been stoic. You ain't saying fucking mad
sorry.
professional, and all of a sudden you just start laughing.
Shit.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh shit.
Please finish.
All right. So Rory put out an album, it goes platinum. Maul has an artist, and Maul wants his artist to do a collab album with Rory.
Mhm.
Maul works out terms and spends X amount of dollars for Rory to do album with him. That's music business.
Mhm.
That has nothing to do with who Rory fucks with or anything like that. That's just business.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I think there's business, and then there's friendships, and there's relationships, but there's also just sometimes it's just business, right? And I think that people conflate the two because hip hop is supposed to be this communal thing where everybody is like jumping on shit and sharing features and stuff. Sometimes it's just business. It's not bigger than that or smaller than that.
Right.
The other thing is when it could be some people feel away because, oh, he didn't get back to me as fast as he normally would, or whatever the case may be. That's I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility. However, I don't like the narrative, me personally, just because of the things that I'm aware of. I don't like the narrative that everybody's ganging up on this one individual, because that's what it seems like optically. Everybody doesn't know what's going on as to why. It's like I said just before, is it 20 versus Maul, or did Maul offend 20 niggas and now Maul is in the room with 20 niggas and they all want to fuck him up? You know what I'm saying?
It could be both. I think that this particular situation was, again, people trying to capitalize off the moment. They realized how big the moment was going to be. And, you know, people threw their hat in the ring. Like, you know, if he responds to me, great. Like, I can put out a record. I can shoot a video. I could, you know, sell some tickets. I could sell some merch. Like, we're not going to act like this is not, you know, one of the biggest moments. Like, any artist would love to have this moment, win or lose. I think that any artist would take this moment, because what are you really losing? Right?
It's not about losing, though.
No, but I'm just saying in the perception of losing. Right? Who is losing in this situation? Who has lost? What has Kendrick lost? What has Drake lost? No matter what side of it you're on. If you think Kendrick lost or you think Drake lost, what did they really lose?
Well, I'm pretty sure that one of those parties have lost substantial business opportunities.
You think so? What opportunities?
I don't know. Ain't my business to tell. But I'm pretty sure that there have been opportunities that have not come to fruition due to the nature of this entire thing.
The nature of the perception of him losing, or the nature of what the song is insinuating?
Could be a combination.
Could be.
Okay.
And we'll get to that part. But Mo, do you feel like he's lost any business opportunities?
Drake?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
There was a rumor, but let's not act like it was a rumor. It was a fact. Drake and Kendrick did speak post like that to set up rules.
Are you confirming that?
I am.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a podcast. We don't fact check. Drake and Kendrick had a conversation prior to, after like that, where they had some light convo about what the rules were going to be and how far everyone was going to take this. There was a third rapper involved as well, but he bowed out, and that's not what today is about. What do you think those rules were, and what do you think that conversation was?
I like the phrasing of that question. Go ahead.
What do you think?
Yeah.
The rules were?
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know what
That's why I'm in the turtleneck.
I don't know what I think the rules were. I think it was maybe certain, maybe family type shit should be off the table. Maybe. Things like that. But I've never thought about, these guys being on the phone call and then, having a discussion about rules of engagement when it comes to MCing. I think as men, I think it's certain things you don't say as men to each other or about each other. But obviously that line was crossed. So what was the conversation really about?
Okay. Hey, what do you think?
Say the question again.
What do you think their conversation was pre-battle about what the rules may be or how far we're taking this?
What do I think the conversation, if the conversation happened, I think that the rules were discussed as far as, let's not get personal. Let's do the thing. But if we go personal, it's gonna go to another level that you probably don't want it to go.
Okay.
And then I think that's if I had to guess, that's the nature of the conversation.
Okay.
Then let me ask you this. What was your initial reaction to push-ups, and do you think be around a bodyguard like Whitney was opening up the floodgates based off this initial conversation that even though he didn't say anything disrespectful about Whitney at that time, he did say her name?
I think anytime you mention a name, Virginia Williams, anytime you also got to look at it. You can't, it's not a one-to-one. I'm a black and white individual, but there's so much nuance to this entire thing that people consistently overlook. You could look at Drake the same way you look at Maul, or you could look at whereas people would probably perceive you to be a habitual line stepper, whereas like you consistently and egregiously encroach on this line that people have set forth as that's their comfort zone for the things that you say, right? Same thing. This person has a history of egregiously encroaching on lines that you probably know are off limits to certain individuals, especially certain people of certain ilk, right? So I think those things have to be taken accountability once you then, like you said, we're all grown men and we know that's not necessarily true. I know people who consistently encroach and don't know where the line is because they didn't have big homies or older brothers or anybody to teach them the ways of manhood, right? So that being said, if you could say anything like from it could be whatever the line is. It doesn't even have to be my wife's name, my fiance's name, anything. Maul could say, we could talk about anything when we have this conversation. You just can't mention my earlobes, right? That's my line. You mention my earlobes, I'm losing my shit. It's up. That's his line though. That's his choice to make. So I'm like, man, fuck your earlobes, woo woo. Now I have to deal with whatever comes with that. And I think that's where people get lost in translation as far as the line between, oh, this is hip hop, this is sport, and this is like, no, this is a real thing. That's the best way I can answer that.
Well, Maul, to DJ Head's point, Drake has mentioned opponents, girls in the past, and it has backfired or taken a battle to the next level. Do you think it was smart to mention Whitney this early in the battle? Because it was just to like that verse, and then push-ups was a reply off the 20v1 shit. Was it too early to even mention Whitney at this point?
I mean, I'm not an MC. I'm not a rapper. I don't know, I can't speak to the mindset or the strategy of what Drake had going into this thing. I do know that, he was obviously very calculated, very, strategic in his approach and his thought process of what he was going to do, how he was going to do it. But I don't know if I look at that like, oh, it was too early to to say Whitney. I don't know. I don't think so. I can't speak, for his mindset in that moment, but to me, that bar didn't really, like when I heard that, I wasn't like, oh shit, like it didn't really.
Okay.
Now,
when I
Kendrick
heard
may
Make
have
It,
heard it and been like, okay, if they did have a conversation and he spoke about not mentioning, the family and the wife or whatever, then I could see Kendrick like, okay, so then all bets are off. But I can't speak to if that was too soon for Drake to say that.
but given the fact, both of us not being a rapper's brain, I didn't think Make It ring on him like Virginia Williams was that crazy of a bar either. But you've seen in the past that if you just say a name, it allows a rapper to be like, all right, well, family's on the table now.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying the name, not even the bar.
Yeah.
Is that a mistake that Drake made twice?
I want to say like, I think maybe when they talked, it probably was maybe it was a little argument. Maybe it was a little spat. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was just like, hey, nigga, it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it was like, weigh-ins for a boxing match, like, nigga, it's up now. You feel me? I don't give a fuck. Whatever it ever. You know what I'm saying? Woo, 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 woo. We about to really get it going, and nigga, whatever happens, happens. Let the best man win. That's personally how I think it might have went, but whatever.
No, I don't think that's a mistake. I think if he wanted to say something, he said it, and he stands by it. Those are his bars. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not. Who am I to say that was a mistake? Like, I'm not. I don't think that was a mistake. I just think that whatever his mindset was, he had that bar. He came up with it and decided, all right, I'm gonna say what I want to say. Like, I don't give a fuck about no rules, and it is what it is.
What do you guys think the score was at this point, from Like That to Push Ups?
I don't know if because Like That to me, obviously it's a Future record. Kendrick has a verse on there. Push Ups is a record designed specifically for that moment at Kendrick. So I don't know if I scored it. I think the Like That verse was when we all was like, oh shit, like, okay, like Kendrick he wants to get in the ring. Like he wants to have this moment, which I think we all feel like he's done before, and he obviously wanted to have that moment for the time. I think that it was more surprising for me that Drake engaged it because he was, still on the road. Well, was just fresh off the road. I think when Like That dropped. No, he was still on the road.
Still on the road, yeah.
So he was still on the road. I was more surprised that Drake, he engaged in the situation. Again, because he had, all of this going on. I didn't think that he would, want to get off the road and go right into battle mode, because you do have to get into a different mindset to, get into a back and forth with an MC or rapper. As Kendrick, you have to, make sure that you're on your A game. So him being on tour and then getting off, I was like, I didn't think that he would engage it. But I mean, I think that this is something that, again, every rapper has in the back of their mind. Like, I'm ready for anybody. Like, I don't care what it is. And I think that that's, one of the things that I respect about Drake is because he very well could have not responded and just ignored it and been like, yo, I don't even know like what this guy's issue is or whatever. And, continue doing what he was doing. But I think the MC in Drake, the rapper in Drake was like, yo, hold up. Like, you ain't coming at me like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you want to have this moment? Let's do it. So I think there's something to respect about that. But again, I didn't think that he would at first, because again, his mindset and where he was at wasn't nowhere near battle rap mode. It was more so like, I got, this tour going, this album just came out, me and Cole are selling out, shows, #1 record. I didn't think that he would flip the switch and get right into battle mode. So, I was surprised that he engaged in the battle.
Had thoughts?
I wasn't surprised, but not from an MC or competitive standpoint, just ego. I think ego has been the fall of the empire. Well, part of it, but I think it was all ego, bravado, and miscalculation. I think from the very beginning. Well, I don't score it. Like I don't have a score at this point. I never really had a score, honestly, throughout the whole shit. It was just like boom, boom, boom. So I wasn't scoring it, but I actually had this conversation with my manager, Salas. He told me right after like that, he said, if he responds to me to one of the worst mistakes of his career, and I was like, how? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, again, I said this before, but I'm thinking like, you know, R. Kelly, he gonna make a hit record, everything gonna go away. You know what I'm saying? He's just gonna make a hit. He gonna hit record himself out of this like he does all the time. He's Drake. He can do that. And I was, boy, was I wrong. But when you look at the push-up record, that still to me is one of them things where it counts, but it didn't count until it counted, until he claimed the record. You know what I mean? Like
until Drake claimed the record or Kendrick?
Until Drake claimed the record.
Push-ups?
Yeah. Because I think Academics was the only person with the record. Now, as a DJ, I know how that is. You know, Flex get the record first, or whoever get the record first. I get the whatever. I understand that. But not in this way. Because in this way, it's like, well, are you responding or are you not? And then it'd be like, he became like a meme coin. He was just memeing all day. And it was just like memes and little subtle innuendos and like it was just stupid shit going on. It was goofy. So that's when I decided to say something. Again, I was acting on my own, but I was like, yo, what are we doing? Like, what is it? You know what I mean? And then, because the record wasn't out. And so I don't think that we actually can count the record until the day that it came out on DSP. Now it's like, oh, now this is a real record. Because you're claiming the record, as opposed to it could be AI, it could just be some bullshit that Ack is doing, you know, whatever the case may be. So from there, that's when I start everything. I don't even count like that.
Okay.
No worrying now.
This episode is sponsored by
All right, we're gonna
Ro.
fast
Mall
forward.
Ro Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription comfortable.
Going out, Roy.
Yeah, works. Oh no, very Why? Call him a pedophile. For Drake quickly, your first order.
All right.
I want to get off TaylorMade pretty quickly, but I do want to ask both of you, was it a mistake for Drake to say in TaylorMade, call him a pedophile?
No.
Why?
Because I think that was obviously in a battle, you know what people are going to try to weaponize against you and say about you. You know, so you take that and you say, go ahead. I know I don't have no skeletons in my closet. Like, I know the type of things that you're going to try to say about me. So go ahead, say it. Like, yeah, get it off. Say it. Now, what I think the issue came in, I think what the label did with the record and publishing it and, you know, getting behind it, putting money behind it, I think that's where the problem came in for Drake. I don't think it was the fact that Kendrick said it. I think it was the fact that once Drake realized, like, oh, this is a play. Like, okay. Like, and obviously, you know, we're not in Drake's business, but he's in negotiations currently with the same label. He probably asked for a number that not many artists have ever been in a position to even attempt to ask for. So he understood the deeper thing. Like, okay, this is to try to devalue me at a time where y'all know the business that we're sitting around handling or discussing. Kendrick is the new guy on the block with PG Lang. Y'all are now behind that. Okay, cool. There's no problem there. But I see what's happening now. And I think that's where Drake felt like he didn't lose the battle. The battle lost him. He stepped away from like, oh, this is a play. Y'all are trying to get, you know, some data and some numbers behind this thing. Like, okay, I get it. Like, all right, I'm done.
Okay, Ma. Well, and we'll come back to that when we get to Not Like Us. Did you want to respond to that? Do you think that it was a mistake that he did that?
I think everything he did with TaylorMade was a mistake.
How so?
I understand the whole like an 8 Mile approach to shit. But that's also a rap nerd's pipe dream. That's not reality. Like, you don't go into a fight out like that. To me, that tells me that you've never been outside. Like, I don't go to the park to fight somebody and hand them a weapon. You know what I mean? That's just not reality. To me, that's some blog rap nerd shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of, at this point, you've already escalated things. So now you should probably understand that it's not a friendly fade. Again, I've explained this ad nauseum. A friendly is for someone who you're friendly with. A friendly fade, a fair one we call it. A fair one is for the homie, like we have a rapport and we're gonna go eat after. We're gonna go outside, we're gonna run a fair one, and then we're gonna go eat. That's reserved for the homie. When you're quote unquote, opposition, an enemy, whatever the case may be, where how we came up, there are no fair ones. You get immediately eviscerated. You get packed. We call it maxed out or packed out. There is no such thing as a friendly amongst people who are oppositions. So to me, that, like I said, this screams of somebody who's never been in those environments, because I would not hand somebody a weapon to use against me in the real world, right? The second thing.
Well, what if it's not a real weapon?
It doesn't matter if it's perceived as one.
Yeah,
the cops is going to shoot you if you have a gun and it's a phone case. It don't matter. Mm-hmm. They're going to shoot you. Mm-hmm.
That's a very good fucking point. Like, all right. So far, I am appreciating both sides of the coin because I feel like they're both very well spoken. They know a lot about the game. They know a lot about these two artists. Whatever they don't know about, they're respectfully saying, "Hey, I don't know much about that," but their points, the points of view right now that DJ Head is making are very like debate worthy, very debate worthy. And I think right now he's in the lead. I'm just gonna say that DJ Head's in the lead. It ain't just because I'm a Kendrick fan. It ain't just because I feel like Kendrick won the battle. I think DJ Head's in the lead. He has more points he's making, more opinions to give about it that makes sense. You know, Maul seems to be dancing around a lot of stuff and just really just trying to stand in his corner, stand in Drake's corner. But I think DJ Head is really, you know, blow for blow in the lead. So anyway.
Perceived weapon. So we all know we live on the internet. Perception doesn't matter. I mean, reality doesn't matter if the perception is fucked up. Mm-hmm. Right? So the second thing was the AI shit. The song would have just been wouldn't have been a dope rap song without the AI shit. Again, screaming of lack of cultural awareness because I don't know, maybe I could ask you, would you ever use someone's likeness who's currently walking around?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, me, I wouldn't, but in that
I'm
situation.
saying, why not though?
Because I don't.
Not in that situation, just in general. Why not?
I mean, but I have though. I mean, we've done skits and things like that where I've acted like other people.
With AI?
Not with AI, but in the terms of acting and using somebody's likeness and personality, not necessarily AI, but with that record, with the tailor-made record, I thought that it was a clever. First of all, we've never seen that in that type of situation, battle or not. So I thought it was a clever play. Everybody, it wasn't like one of those records where it was like, oh, he killing him. It was more so like, oh, that was clever.
It would have been even more clever without that. Because to me, again, somebody who has respect for, I don't give a fuck if I don't like you as an artist. I would never, because I have respect for hip hop, I have respect for my elders. Even people who don't like me as an elder in the game, I would never disrespect them publicly because I respect.
Where was the disrespect?
To use someone's likeness without their permission. Who's currently breathing.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah, but see, that's where y'all people lose me in this because, yes, he used Tupac's voice with a filter. He used Snoop. But when we say, oh, he's using their likeness and this, that, and that, like Drake wasn't using that as a single trying to get popping. And that's where I think people was just, this was a moment, it was a battle. It was like, all right, let's have some fun. He's taking too long to respond. You know, what are some of the West Coast, you know, Mount Rushmores, what would they say in this moment to Kendrick if they could speak to him and get him in a room? I think that was Drake's mindset. Like, yo, we doing this or not, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you jumped out there with the verse. Let's do it. Like, I'm fresh off tour. I'm in the studio. I'm not sleeping. I'm up. I'm ready for this moment. Like, what are you doing? And then obviously, you know, the record came out. Somebody made a call to an estate. The estate said, take it down, delete the song. Okay, cool. No problem. It wasn't that serious of a song. I'll delete it off my Instagram or wherever it was living at. It wasn't that deep. So that's why I feel like when people are like, oh, he used, you know, Pac's likeness or he used Snoop's likeness and this, that, and the third. And it's like, bro, it wasn't that serious though. He wasn't trying to make a living off of this song and publish it and push it out to the mat. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So when people carry it that heavy. I'm like, bro, this was a battle, bro. This was like a little intent, like, yo, what's up, fam? Like, I'm here, I'm outside, I'm waiting for you. Like, what you gonna do? Like,
I agree with you, but to me, even your rebuttal screams to me that you don't understand. That's disrespectful. Where we come from, where I'm from, that's disrespectful. It doesn't matter what the use case is. You don't violate the elders or the OGs.
Where was the violation at though?
Why did they tell him to take it down?
Because he used somebody's likeness and their tone and their inflections in their voices.
So the violation is using someone's shit without their permission.
Yeah, but again, you losing me because I get what you're saying. Yes, he used the AI, the voice, the filter. I get that part. But it's not like he used it and was disrespecting Pac or Snoop.
And that's what I'm telling you. You don't see the bigger picture is.
The bigger picture is those are West Coast artists. Kendrick is a West Coast artist. And this turned into California versus Drake. Not Kendrick versus Drake.
No.
That's the real situation.
No, that's not what happened.
That's exactly what Kendrick turned it into.
That's not what happened.
Kendrick didn't turn it into California versus Drake. You DJ'd the pop-out show. What are you talking?
Well, wait. Didn't Drake not turn it into Canada versus TDE or Canada versus Schoolboy Q? He didn't, he put in the words to stop Schoolboy from coming down there, and it was like Canada versus Cali, Canada versus Florida or whatever, wherever Rick Ross was from, because they was beating up on Rick Ross when he went over there. Miami. Yeah, Canada versus Miami or whatever for a second. So I don't know. I think both sides of the spectrum have points being made. I personally think that the tailor-made stuff was, I think it was whack. Yes, I do. I think it was trash. But nevertheless, it was a response. And I think that whether disrespectful or not, if it's a rap battle, things get disrespectful, right? So I think that the Pac thing was definitely sensitive. You use Pac, Cali was automatically going to be on your head about that. So, and Snoop Dogg, it's just like he's still alive, right? It like kind of how DJ Head is saying. It's like it's kind of just. It's just weird to use Snoop. You could have used anybody really. So I don't really see it as disrespect for him using that, but it was just off-putting. Like, I don't know. It was just kind of weird to me, but anyway, just my little 2 cents.
Talking about
Who used whose likeness?
so it was you and Amazon.
Who used whose likeness?
Drake and 40.
So you saying are you saying that Dot conspired to have Dot? I mean, you saying Dot conspired to have Drake use those two West Coast legends, right?
No, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying Dot had anything to do with that.
No. Listen. You're saying that Dot turned it into California versus Drake. That's
100%.
But Drake used California first.
He used it in a way of saying, yo, dog, you taking too long to drop your verse or your record, whatever you putting out.
Okay.
Like, yo, what's up, fam? I'm waiting. Like, This is what the OGs would say, or what I think the OGs would, if they could get in Kendrick's ear, like, Kendrick, we need you, West Coast savior. All of that, like, that was just fun shit. That was part of the moment. But to then have the estate, whoever called the estate, I don't know who called the estate, Tupac estate.
Who has to call anybody?
I'm just saying, somebody made a call.
Use Rory and Mal and to do stuff without y'all permission?
They do it all the time on YouTube.
No.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. Are you cool with people using Rory and Mal? Rory, are you cool with people using Rory and Mal to just do whatever the fuck they want to do?
No.
Why not?
It depends the light that it's put in.
Okay.
There's plenty of stuff that goes on YouTube that will never copyright, copy strike, anything. If you want to use our content, I'm okay with it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been times where like homophobic shit was used in our likeness that we didn't feel was okay.
Right.
Especially with our
because
brand
that's
with advertisers, and it's different there.
Right.
But as far as like someone clipping this exact conversation, nah, I'm fine with that.
Okay,
But to be
perfect.
fair,
Because
when
it promotes, granted, that didn't promote Tupac or Snoop. So I see there's not
It
really
wasn't
comparison,
supposed to,
but
though.
I know. So it's a weird comparison that I think Head is asking.
No. It's not. I'm not comparing the two. I'm simply just asking straight across, because he was bringing up like somebody called the estate. Just straight across business, you can't even put out your album without getting clearance.
Oh, for sure, yeah. No, I don't think anyone needed to call Tupac's estate. They could just hear it.
That's
and
all I'm-
The lawyer that they have on retainer.
Oh, so y'all don't
all
think
the time.
nobody called Tupac's estate?
I'll be honest. I don't know Kendrick.
No, I'm asking, do you think anybody did?
I think
is about you
somebody
guys.
probably did. I don't think
Okay.
it had anything to do with Kendrick, but I'm not in this debate.
Okay.
So my point is,
Hey, Lilac, how you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Shout out to you for popping through here. Even if you don't stay, I appreciate it. I know this is probably out of your element. It's some hip hop talk. Drake versus Kendrick beef. Just the aftermath, talking about it between two hip hop enthusiasts. I appreciate you for popping through here though and asking me how I'm doing. I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Hopefully you are doing really well today.
Drake brought California in before Dot did.
Because he used Snoop and Pac's like
Also,
It would have been a cool record without
question.
it.
How's my mic sounding? Is it sounding okay? I hope it sounds okay. Let me know if it sounds weird or choppy or anything like that.
Okay.
It's just creatively you have to have the bandwidth to do that on your own.
I hear that. All right, so 17 days passes. In this era, I feel like because of the internet, people want you to reply right away. And I feel like Dot was the one that kind of initiated this entire thing with free time while Drake was on tour and then waited 17 days to put out Euphoria. Was that
Thank
too
you.
long in your opinion, Ed?
No,
Not in retrospect.
No.
We're in the timeline right now.
no.
Why?
Because you don't get to dictate what I do.
Even if you popped everything off, if you say, yo, let's fight, and then
Who said
now
that?
it's on your time. No, you asked me to fight. Let's go fight.
But who said that?
I mean, like that. I feel said that.
He didn't say let's fight. He said, fuck that shit, I'm this. That's like me saying I'm not anti anybody, I'm just pro us. I'm not anti New York, I'm just pro LA.
He said he wanted to kill for every dog.
Oh,
We
that
know what he was talking about.
That was
Wordplay. But that
long ago.
initiates a battle.
That wasn't like that. That was the end of the verse.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is, if you look at it, to me, that's rap. That's not the same thing. Like if we're keeping this timeline that we're on right now, right? Whereas that song comes out, then you get the response, which is the push up record.
Okay. So you got some fucked up news. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. So are you excuse me for asking this. I'm sorry for not knowing. Are you a girl or a boy? You might have told me already. You might have told me already, but I fuck with you. I fuck with you the long way. And I always see you in my comments and stuff, so I just want to be respectful. But yeah, man, that sucks. Whether you're a girl or a guy, fuck her. That's not cool, bro. She gonna get hers one day. You know what I'm saying? God don't like ugly, and use one ugly motherfucker. Stop cheating on people, man. That shit ain't cool. Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. Damn. Did she cheat with a guy or did she cheat with a girl? This is interesting. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm so sorry. It's just, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the question because these are things that happen. Like sometimes gay girls or bi girls, I guess they step out and they go try the other thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't try the Wait, she cheated with both? She cheated with a boy and a girl? God damn. Holy moly. I'm so sorry. It's okay. You'll get through it. You'll get through it. Just yeah, man, just hold yourself down. Don't do nothing you'll regret. You don't want to put your freedom on the line. Stay out of harmful situations. Sometimes you just got to let people go, man. It's not always easy. I just got out of a very long relationship. It wasn't too long, but it was long enough to, get some skin in the game with each other. And I had to be strong enough to end it because we just couldn't get along. You know what I'm saying? So it still hurts to this day, but I know that I did what was best for us. So sometimes you just got to walk away from certain circumstances like that, Yeah. Fuck them. Fuck them both. Fuck whoever she getting and fuck her. You just focus on yourself, you know. That's the season we in. Right
And then this alleged conversation happens. It's like, oh, this is a thing. All right, bet I'll be back. You don't get to dictate when I come back.
Nah, I mean, Head is being political, and I respect that. But we all know it was a play.
What was the play?
Lucian had to have a meeting about what was going to happen, how it was going to happen.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know that for a fact?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
Well,
also,
all right, Ed, do you not see that could be something that would happen
no,
in the building
that's not.
after we've engaged like
don't
that
think
has
they
come
would-
out and
No,
push
hold on, Roy. Not
No,
to
go
cut you
ahead.
off.
No, no,
As a
I was just-
moderator,
Let
not to cut you
Maul
off.
No,
do
go
it.
ahead. I want
Not
to shut
to
up.
cut you off. You don't think that there was no talks with anybody at Universal about what Kendrick was about to do at any point in this battle? You don't think that Kendrick had a conversation with anybody about his plans, what he was going to do, how they wanted to do it? You think all of this was just Kendrick with his whoever he's in the studio with, and they were deciding what they wanted to do? You think he didn't have a single conversation with the label?
Do I think that? I don't think so.
You don't think he had one
I
conversation?
don't think so.
All right.
Okay. Once Euphoria drops, Head, I know you had said earlier you didn't think he was plotting whatsoever, but there was rumors that he had records for 4 years. Again, rumors, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Euphoria did speak a bit.
That was an interesting question from Maul. I will say this. I don't think Kendrick Lamar has to have conversations with his label. Essentially, Kendrick is the face of it. You know, even when he was on TDE, he was the face of TDE. I know it's like a big machine behind Kendrick, but I think that he's pretty much doing his own thing, and he can twist and turn however he'd like to with his career. So I feel like he probably just, he kept it between him and his rapper friends, you know, his homies. Like, what's the guy with the tattoo on his face? I forget his name right now, but he got that big tattoo on his face. I'm gonna think of his name, but I can't remember it right now, unfortunately. Huge battle rapper. I guess he just went back and forth with Joey Badass recently. But yeah, Kendrick is like a powerhouse, so I don't think he would necessarily have to say anything.
To some stuff on push-ups, but was that a record, in your opinion, that had been halfway done for quite some time?
No, I think you have ideas. I don't think the record has been done forever.
Okay.
Like, I think you have ideas. It's like, oh, if I get into it with this artist, here's some things, here's some bullet points. Like, we've all moderated and hosted shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So me personally, my personal hosting style is I go, like, I'm going to Cal State Northridge next week to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm going to say, but I have bullet points of ideas. And then that's my best way of communication, because
My bad, I just remember his name. It's Daylight. So he's like one of the most prolific like battle rappers right now, or you know, at least one of them. But you know, him and Kendrick had a lot of conversations with each other going into the battle. So yeah,
I want my thoughts to always be authentic. That's why I don't have no prep sheets. I didn't come here with like, hey, we can't talk about this. And you know what I mean? Because I'm best when I'm just being real and authentic. So I think these are ideas that he might have had, but I don't think there was any records. I mean, there probably were some bars in songs, but I don't think there was a Euphoria done 4 years ago. No.
Okay, follow up on that. Do you think anything on Euphoria landed at this point in the battle? April 30th, 2024.
Yeah.
What do you think landed?
I like the DMX callback. That's a personal fan favorite of mine. They hate the way you walk and stuff like that. That shit, because it was just funny. It was a moment that was funny, and I like humor. But
You like humor unless you're using Pox and Snoop's likeness.
that's not humorous to me. That's respect. I don't find disrespect humorous.
Okay.
So there was other part where
You don't find this. Wait, hold up.
You're
You don't
right,
find
right.
disrespect humor. You did.
hold on. See, look, that's where I'm having an issue at too with DJ Head, because the whole battle was disrespectful as fuck. He just said some disrespectful shit that Kendrick said. And I don't even listen to Drake, but we have to be real here. You know, we have to be honest. And, you know, I think when different chairs come to the table and sit down, you have to be thoughtful of those things that you're saying. Because it's like, wait, a rap battle is based off disrespect. No matter how far it goes, disrespect is disrespect. So DJ Head gonna have to like change his word usage, because, you know, That's what the whole battle was about. Disrespect, right?
DJ the Popeye. That was based on disrespect.
Was it?
What? Hey, we not doing this. We not do. You my guy. We not doing this.
Doing what?
You don't find disrespect humorous? All you niggas was shaking y'all asses on that Amazon stage.
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I don't shake my ass.
I saw you shaking ass.
I don't shake ass.
I mean, you wasn't twerking, but you had a 2-step behind the turntable. We not doing that.
Yeah, but that's not gyrating ass.
All right, well, you was gyrating. Maybe not your ass, but you was gyrating.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was I saying?
Lines that hit from Euphoria. You had your turn. We're gonna ask Maul now. Maul, were there any lines objectively that you think struck a nerve from Euphoria?
I honestly can't remember Euphoria, like the bar. And I'm being serious. I really can't remember. I can't quote a single bar from Euphoria right now.
Hey yo,
I'm being dead serious. If y'all have a line that y'all can give me an example of, I would love to talk about it. But I really cannot think of a line.
Okay, so the answer is no. You don't think anything landed at all?
Landed and I mean,
Yeah, like that affected because I mean we're eventually going to
was
get.
Euphoria the one about his dad or
No, that's Meet the Grams.
which one is Euphoria?
I mean, it's one of the longer
near the
records.
first one.
It's when he gets in his
The second
Toronto
one.
shit. Crody, that one.
Yeah, I don't think
That was a
none of
good impression.
landed.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah, I don't think none of that landed.
New King Crody. Yeah, that one.
Nah.
When I see you dancing with Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches. What is it? The
That line was fire.
braids. What it like the
that was like
things
the
that were
main diss
addressed
track.
in Euphoria. Do you think that they hit at all, whether to Drake personally or to his image? Do you think that it made anybody go, "Oh, he has to respond to this"?
No, I mean, I don't think it was that. I think people just felt like Drake had to respond, just as as a rapper, you stand behind your pen and your bars. So I think people felt like Drake had to respond no matter what Kendrick said. But I don't know if it was anything in Euphoria where Drake was in, wherever he was at, like getting mad, like he said that, like it's on now. I don't think it was any of that.
I don't mean from Drake's perspective. I think just because everything played out on the timeline and the court of public opinion is really what's at stake with battles at this point. More so, did that affect anything? Because I think a lot of points were brought up with push-ups and Drake talking about Kendrick's contract and stuff that maybe we didn't know before. That's more what I'm saying with Euphoria.
Yeah, but people don't care about facts.
We will get to that as well.
Yeah.
3 days later, 6/16, LA comes out. Kendrick rapped, "Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me?" If that is true, do you guys know who that person was? Because this has been probably the most debated thing during that week of who the mole was.
That Kendrick has a mole in OVO?
Yes. They were going through Boy Wonder's social security, his mom's address.
I think that was just a tactic from Kendrick of divide and conquer. Just plant the seed of, start to get Drake to walk around his campus, start looking at everybody with a raised eyebrow like, is it you? I don't think that was a real thing, though. I don't think nobody from OVO is working for Kendrick.
And we'll get to Heart Part 6, but I do want to counter your point. He did say he sent somebody.
I'm not gonna lie, DJ Head looked like he knows some shit. Like he's sitting there like, I really know what's going on, but I ain't gonna let too much out.
To get information on Drake?
No, he had said that he had placed the information about the daughter, which we'll also get to. But Drake did admit in Heart Part 6 that he had placed the mole that Kendrick was talking about was actually placed by Drake in there.
Double agent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jason Bourne shit.
I don't know. I don't know how true that is.
But what do you think?
I mean, I think a lot of things were said in jest. I think a lot of things was for entertainment. I'm pretty sure Drake did send some false information Kendrick's way. How did he send it? Who he sent it with? I can't speak to that. But I'm pretty sure he sent some fake work. He sent a fake brick in the mail.
Head, do you have any response to this? Do you think that there was a mole, or do you have confirmation that there was indeed a mole?
I wouldn't necessarily call it that. A mole indicates espionage.
Explain.
And spell it.
What, espionage?
Yeah.
What does it spelling mean?
No, I want to
did
hear you
that.
spell espionage.
You spell it first.
Me?
Yeah.
Espionage.
Okay. You want me to go
Stop
now?
playing with me, Head. Who you think you sitting across, man? We're not doing this. You my guy. We're not going to do this.
I'm not
though.
doing it.
All right, cool. All right. And I don't even know if I spelled it right, but
Okay.
I appreciate the confidence.
You did. Even if you don't think that there was a mole, because you keep hearkening back to the fact that none of this was plotted or pre-planned. Do you think that there was indeed someone from the OVO camp that was providing information that Drake would have rather not been provided, that Drake would have rather not gotten out? Do you think that happened?
I wouldn't necessarily say from the OVO camp.
An affiliate, maybe?
Perhaps.
Just an OV? An O?
Maybe. If you remember, if you go back a little bit in the timeline, when the Push-Ups record dropped, I'm the one who announced that it was dropping in 30 minutes.
And this was the leaked version or the version that
I said it'll be on DSPs in 30 minutes.
Okay. And again, the version that leaked or the version that ended up being the
official
final?
song, I'm the one who said it'll be on DSPs in 30 minutes.
Okay. So
that's my answer.
Fair. And I'm going to ask a follow-up, which you probably won't answer. Do you think the person that told you that was the person that was working with both sides?
No.
So there was more than one mole.
So it was a yes.
Okay.
Fucking with you.
Moving on.
All right. So Family Matters drops the exact same day. Maul, you posted a red button as well as Drake on his story. Maul, do you think the Dave Free bar was the nuke that Drake thought it was?
Shit.
no, I don't think that Drake thought that was a nuke, that bar.
He had said on red button on the Scary Hours Deluxe with For All the Dogs that he could hit the red button. Everyone's going to heaven.
Yeah, well,
so we were all anticipating that this red button was going to be something that was going to blow all of our fucking minds. Do you think that red button was as effective as Drake may have thought it was?
No, I think you were just attaching that red button to anything at this point. But I think that because For All the Dogs came out way before any of this even transpired. I don't think that the Dave Free bar was a bar that Drake was like hanging on, like, oh, this is gonna be the one that. I don't think it was that. But if you go back and listen to Family Matters, I think that to this day, I still believe that that's a better record than Not Like Us. I believe he rapped better on Not Like Us. I believe the production is better than Not Like Us. I think Drake's, the only thing I would have done differently, looking back, I would have cut that brick in 3. I wouldn't have released all 3 of the beat changes at once. I would have released the first one, ended with the gunshots, wait to see what Kendrick does. If he takes too long, maybe release the second one.
See, I don't know if the people from Complex saw this, but they said the same shit that he's saying right now. I think that it might have made a difference, but I do still think that, I'm going to give Drake his respect for that one. I don't listen to Drake, but I'm going to give him his respect for that one because that shit had me on the edge of my seat. Do you hear me? When that came out, I was like, oh my God, this nigga is rapping. But then y'all know what happened next, so whatever.
I would have done that. But if we go back now that it's all, said and done is, and just listen to bars. And I've spoken to a lot of rappers and artists that make music at a high level. And without even bringing it up, they say like Drake may have, in the perception of people, may have lost the strategy game. But as far as the better bars and music, Not Like Us is not better than Family Matters.
Head, would you agree with that?
He's from Carson. He can't disagree with it.
Or I just go outside.
Okay, well, since this was going to be a post-battle question, but let's ask it now since Maul did bring it up. Who out-rapped who? Not who out-impact who. Who had the better strategy? Who had the better bars in this entire battle?
I stay on my side of the line of scrimmage.
He got to. He got a check from the Pop-Out show.
I don't have to.
Yes, you do. You can't go against that.
I could do whatever I want to do.
Nah, you can't go against Kendrick. You can't do that. And I'm not mad at you. I fuck with you. I'm not mad at you. But you can't sit here and objectively say, nah, I don't think that,
I would.
Nah.
If that's what I thought.
Drake out-rapped him, and I'm talking about, fuck me saying it. Some of the rappers that you've played their records and respect, I've had conversations with them, and they like, yo, Kendrick may have got the strategy and the perception of him dropping right after Family Matters and all of that. Cool. But if you just go and listen to bars as an MC and as a rapper, there's no way you think Kendrick, I don't even think Kendrick was trying to really rap on Not Like Us. I think it was a song. He was trying to get people to dance. He needed to galvanize the West Coast, get the whole California behind the song. This is like our new anthem, which is good. I'm not mad at that strategy. But we're not gonna say he rapped better than Drake on Not Like Us versus Family Matters. No fucking way.
Okay, so Maul, bringing that up, when you're referencing that and everybody else that you're referring to, are you talking about just Not Like Us versus Family Matters? Or are you talking about Kendrick versus Drake in the entirety of all of these songs?
Because also at this point, Family Matters was really against Meet the Grams in that situation.
I think Family Matters and Heart Part 6, Drake is rapping better than anything Kendrick put out during that moment. Just rapping.
No way.
Absolutely.
No way.
I aspire to have this level of.
He's still on impact of a song. He's talking about a song. I'm talking about bars.
No.
I'm talking about lyrics. I'm talking about rhymes.
I'm talking about rap. And
Not Like Us, the production is not even dope.
Okay, so Maul, you keep bringing up Not Like Us. Head, do you think that Not Like Us is Kendrick's
Debatable.
best rapped song in all of this battle? Which one would you pick out of all of them?
Euphoria.
Okay.
I don't even remember that song.
It's probably a lot of bars, too confusing.
Yeah.
No, it's just like when you open a bag of chips, it's a lot of the air at the top and there's a few chips in there. But we ain't gonna go back to that.
Head, you being the Coast Guard and having some relationship with everybody in that camp and around that camp, what was everyone's reaction to the Dave Free bar?
Comedy. It was like that's the well, actually there was two reactions. One from the front facing standpoint, like that we all had internally, was like, that's not even a good attempt. Like that's like a lazy attempt at something. And then the second thing was from the homies.
What about Kendrick saying you have a daughter? Yeah, that wasn't a lazy attempt?
What about it?
That wasn't a lazy attempt from Kendrick? Saying that Drake has a daughter that he's hiding?
I don't know. Do we have one?
You don't know if that was a lazy attempt? I'm asking you, do you think that was a lazy attempt?
No.
You don't?
I don't think so.
Why?
And do you think Drake is hiding a daughter?
Hiding is a verb.
Okay, do you think Drake has a daughter?
You are hiding your opinions.
Yeah,
Sir.
do you think Drake has a daughter?
I think it's possible.
Okay. You think it's possible that you think that Drake has a daughter? Or do you think it's possible Drake has a daughter?
I think it's possible he has one.
Okay.
I mean, I don't particularly care to get into Kendrick's personal life with his girl, kids, and his business partner.
Mm-hmm.
But do you see Maul's point in some degree that saying Dave Free might be your son's father, I agree is lazy. And I thought if that was the nuke, that's odd because that's not, no one's really going to believe that. Even if for some weird reason it was true. The daughter thing, is that not lazy because Push already did it and we saw what that did and you're supposed to be light years ahead of any rapper right now and you're reusing the same strategy off something that can't be proven, whereas Push did it and it was proven.
No, I get that point. But you also have to understand, like, the way I'm looking at it, and this is, I mean, you're not going to believe me, but objectively looking at it, it's a Floyd Mayweather thing. Like, Dot has been counterpunching the whole time. He's not aggressed. The only time he aggressed is once it was already fully on. You know what I'm saying? So if you think about it.
Like that, he aggressed. What are you talking about?
If you think about it, when you say, like the Dave Free thing came first in Family Matters.
Correct, yeah.
And then there was a response. And then the other thing came. It wasn't like, it's like, oh, okay, boom, boom. It was like a 1-for-1 to me.
Okay, so you are, and I'm asking, because we think that the Dave Free line was a lie, that gave Kendrick also a green light to lie about the daughter. Hypothetically, because we do not know these people and their personal lives like that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, sure.
So you don't get a point taken away if you do a whole third verse about something that's completely unproven and possibly fed as information to you to give you the okie doke?
Well, no, okay, let's do it this way. Let's take it out. Let's take the whole verse out.
Okay.
There's a record still.
I love the record. I love the record.
Which record is this?
Meet the Grams.
I don't like the record.
Okay.
At all, on no level. I've listened to it a total of maybe 5 times. And I told him that I don't like the record.
What don't you like about it?
It's too fucking. It's dark, and it makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. I'm a jovial, like I'm a nerd, and I'm like cerebral, but I'm a jovial individual. I have good positive frequencies. I don't like that shit. I don't like the depth and dark, like shit. That ain't my bag. So I told him that that's like my least favorite record out of everything.
Maul, do you think Meet the Grams, even based off your opinion of the record, because even Head said he doesn't really like it like that, do you feel like it was effective off Drake's probably best record in this entire beef?
No.
Why?
I mean, people don't even really talk about Meet the Grams. It's not even a song that people...
They do.
I think, like Head said, I think most people kind of forget that record. Like, we get it.
No, people talk about that record. I don't know if it's just because of the algorithm that I prescribe to or subscribe to on my Instagram or YouTube, but people were talking about Meet the Grams, and they still do talk about Meet the Grams. I don't know, it was just something about it. It came and it slammed us in the face, bro. Like, it just slammed us, bro. So when we listened to it, we, like DJ Head, he's still like, does he have a daughter? I don't know. Because it was sharp. It was like a very sharp sword that he pulled out in the battle. And I think that I don't think it was one of my favorite tracks either, but it was definitely one that made me sit down and really listen. Like, I had to pull out note and pad, like a pen and pad to take notes. Cause I'm like, holy shit, this guy, he tapping on something, you know?
Dropped it right after, and the timing of it when he dropped it was like, oh shit, everybody was running back and forth to YouTube. Kendrick just dropped and this, whatever. But I think when you go back and listen to it, it's probably the least favorite from most people.
Fair. But do you think if Family Matters, being the diss record that it is, had more time to breathe, it would have been more effective in this battle, whereas Meet the Grams to Not Like Us back to back after, I think, Drake's best diss record ever.
Family Matters?
Yes.
And what up, though, Shy? I appreciate you for popping through here. Even if it's just for a second, I appreciate it. Meet the Grams was definitely wild as hell. Yeah, like I would still play it, honestly. It's not something that you would, if we're thinking on terms of catchiness, it's not catchy. It's not a song that you're just finna put on and drive down the highway to. No, of course not. He wanted a song like that in a beef battle for a purpose. It was purposely structured to scare the shit out of whoever was listening to it, especially Drake. So, yeah, mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was an effective step on when it came to Drake's best effort?
No, I mean, no matter what Kendrick said or put out, I thought the timing of it was dope. It's kind of like if Head, if you DJing and somebody bump your table and fuck up your needle and the record jump, the energy is completely different in the room at the party. So I think that's what Kendrick did. He bumped the needle, the record jumped, and it was kind of like, okay, people kind of like, but not only the record jump, my record comes on. You know what I'm saying? So I thought the time, and I thought the strategy of what Kendrick did to me was dope. Like, okay, I get it. But again, I'm going back just as a music head, as a consumer of hip hop and listening to bars and raps. And once I listen to that, I don't care when the record dropped, how it dropped. In the moment, I understand, the impact of that. But now that I'm just listening to bars and raps, nobody can convince me that Drake got out-rapped in this thing. Like, there's no fucking way he got out-rapped. Now, I understand what the optics of the record is, and it being big and everything that Kendrick got off of that, the Amazon show and the Super Bowl halftime and things like that. I understand that part of it. And like Head said earlier, optics is a big part of it, and perception is a big part of it. Again, I'm just a consumer of hip-hop and rap and listening to music. And in me listening to it, there's nobody that can convince me that Drake had the worst bars in this whole thing.
So look, before they go any further, I want to say that even though that may be the case, y'all have to understand that Drake does have writers, and he has very skilled writers. And if you put that against a poetic vibe like Kendrick's, you may think that there's an out rapping qualification there. But I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case. I just think that there's different styles of rapping, and you may think that Drake outbarred Kendrick at points, which he probably did at some points, but there was definitely, more pins in one room versus another. You know what I'm saying? So Kendrick may have, said something a little more long-winded, and Drake might have just kind of hit him with a couple jabs, you know what I'm saying, that were a lot more quicker to understand. But if you really pay attention to a poetic verse, you might have to break some shit down. You might have to go to sleep on it and wake up with it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay. Maul, hearkening back to Family Matters.
Hearkening, spell that. I'm sorry.
HR.
Maul, do you think domestic abuse allegations are too far in a battle, especially if they're unproven?
Do I think domestic abuse allegations in a battle are too far?
Unproven.
Unproven.
Unproven?
Yes.
Um,
I think everyone can say proven domestic violence
Yes.
is fair in a battle.
Maybe, yeah. I guess I think that anything you start talking about, when you start talking about somebody's family and things like that, maybe a line that may be too far. But then again, this is rap hip hop, but I don't think that there's any line as far as calling somebody a pedophile. I think that's the worst thing you can put on anybody's shit.
And we're going to get to
We'll
that.
get to that, but
Head,
yeah.
do you think that domestic violence allegations are okay in a rap battle?
It's nuance.
Define nuance in this situation.
It depends on what the line is and what the rules of engagement are.
Drake, I think, directly said that Kendrick had beat his girl.
Then was it warranted?
I don't know.
Do you?
Because I
think
don't
it
know.
was-
Yeah. Do you think
it was
unproven
warranted?
domestic violence is okay to put in a battle?
I think anything is okay as long as both parties are cool with what the outcome. Like, you know how like the YNs be like, hey, let's meet up and die.
Yeah.
If both of y'all are cool with dying,
I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying like,
No, I get your point. I
if
actually do get your
if me and you are okay with dying, then nothing's
It's all
off
good.
the table.
Right,
Yeah.
it's all good.
You know what I'm saying? It's only a problem if one party disagrees to the terms.
Okay. With that said, do you think Drake is a pedophile?
Do I think he's a what?
Do you think Drake is a pedophile?
By definition, no.
Okay.
By what? So not by definition, but by what? Because it sounds like you think he's a pedophile by something else.
That's not what I said.
I said it sounds like.
That's not what I said. I don't take credit for anything I don't say.
Okay. So you don't think Drake is a pedophile by the definition of a pedophile?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. I hate this is just going to demonetize us immediately, and it's going to make my algorithms crazy. The definition of pedophile is sexual perversion in which children are the preferred sexual object.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to close my laptop and hope the feds don't raid here.
And the definitive definition of a child is what?
All right. See, don't whack 100 me where you know the age of consent in every state.
Okay, fine.
I think
to
below,
answer
below
the
18 and
layman
below,
the layman
and,
answer
and we also know as like moral fiber what a kid is and what a kid isn't.
the layman answer, Rory, is no.
Okay.
Okay.
And I believe you did answer it in if everyone's ready to die, everything's off the table. But you think pedophilia is okay to be brought up in a battle?
I think if I do discuss with you, hey, this is a line.
Mm-hmm.
My earlobes are off limits,
Mm-hmm.
and I violate the sanctity of that. Let's meet up and die.
Okay.
Maul?
I'm mad at that.
Do you
Thoughts?
have any thoughts?
On what he just said?
Mhm.
I mean, that's fair. If he feels like, again, if there was a conversation and, certain things were deemed off limits, if somebody violates, the terms of the conversation, I think all bets are off. There's no rules of engagement. Everything is, fair game. I just think, just where I think your moral compass kicks in at some point. And it's just certain things certain energies I just wouldn't invite into, my music and things like that. And I just think, just that word is something that I just would never throw around unless it was absolutely definitively true. Like, then cool. But if not, I don't think you play with that word at all.
I think that's the difference, though.
What?
The nuance of, I want to say like cultural prowess, right?
Mhm.
Like people who don't understand certain things.
Here's my thing, not to cut you off. If Kendrick, again, I've never had a conversation with Kendrick about any of this shit, but if he feels like Drake is indeed a pedophile, how long did he feel like that? How long did he, think Drake was a pedophile? And why has he done music with somebody he thinks is a pedophile? No, I'm not saying I'm not telling you to answer it. I would just say, to me, it's just like, if we know, we come.
I mean, he possibly could have found out late, right? Could have found out late. And I think that's kind of how it is in Hollywood now, where a lot of these actors and actresses, you mess around and you get a movie with somebody, you don't realize that they may be a real sick person. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, you got 2-3 movies out or getting ready to come out with the person or whatever, and you got to make some decisions, some choices or whatever. But I don't know, man. It's just, I don't think that anything is off the table in a rap battle. It's a beef. It could be the dirtiest, nastiest thing that you can think of to ruin a person's career, to ruin a person's next endeavor in rap. Like, all I know is rap battles get greasy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. We have saw that video. Everybody has seen it. What up, though, Lila? See you back in the building. Appreciate you for popping back in. Yeah, everybody saw that video. So it's really, it's no question. And Drake has people in his team that do have weird cases, as can be proven by paperwork. Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? You know what I'm saying? Like, look it up. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
From a certain area, we see, we don't even play with that word, because where we from, we know what happens to those type of people. We see people creating content online or meeting up with people that's trying to meet up with kids and have sex, beat them up, whatever. So in this battle, to introduce that energy against someone and you don't know if it's facts or not, you may just feel like it is for whatever reasons, whatever conversations you're privy to. My thing is, how long did you feel like that?
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
how long did you feel
let me
like
ask Maul a question.
Yeah.
Maul is beefing with Joe Budden.
Mm-hmm.
What's off limits?
What's off limits?
What's off limits?
Nothing is off limits.
Nothing is off limits.
Yeah.
So let's meet up and die.
Yeah.
Okay. So by that standard, then you can't say, well, that goes against my moral compass and all. Like, you just said nothing is off limits.
Right.
So that's what that.
You're right, and I understand that, but when it comes to that, and we both have children,
mm-hmm.
right? So we can at one point in our lives be ready to die and crash out. We'll burn all this shit down. But now when we're fathers
mm-hmm.
and we have children, we don't think the same anymore. We don't speak the same anymore. We look at life totally different. We're more, we're different versions of what we used to be. Because, again, you have children and you understand how sacred that is and, how precious children are. So, yeah, we could be in this situation where we ready to go all out. But at some point, you got to be like, nah, I ain't doing that, though.
You just brought up kids.
Mm-hmm.
Who brought the kids up first?
No, I understand what you're saying in the timeline of things. I understand what you're saying.
So then,
but even in that,
you don't get the right to dictate anything beyond that point.
I'm not trying to dictate shit. I'm just saying, at some point, you have to say, all right, what I'm saying is the worst thing you could say about somebody. That better be a fact. Because once you do that, once you label somebody that, again, somebody call somebody a rat, we know what can happen when you just call somebody a snitch.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from Carson, coming from New York. We know what can happen. A pedophile is worse than all of that shit.
Okay.
So when you label a man that, I would just think that you would have to be 1,000% correct in what you're saying and have facts on that before you throw it out there. And I do understand there's no rules once you say, oh, you know, my manager might be my kid's father.
Yeah, because it really ain't no rules to this shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I understand Mars having a like a battle within himself based off of what Kendrick said about Drake being a pedophile, but it's like you exemplify those tones. You hang around people that kind of, you know, dibble and dabble in that type of thing. Yeah, Drake doesn't really care because, you know, like you said, Shy, they hang around people like that. But I don't know, man. I just think that you can't put a top on this, on what somebody will say or should not say in a rap battle. You just can't, excuse me, you can't try to put some type of limitation on what people are going to say. You just can't do that, bro. You can't do it because it's so much on the line. I think that when this pride is on the line and this rap beef shit, because that's really what it starts from. It's a lot of pride. It's anger. It's pride. It's street value or like street credibility. Is industry credibility. It's all of that tied into this thing. So may the best man win, no matter what you have to say to win. It's just that simple. I think we saw a lot of fluff from both sides, but what we did also see was a lot of strategy, and we saw a real battle, man, and it was very exciting and invigorating. And I think that the number one thing that may have spoiled it beyond the pedophilia remarks is the taking it to a courtroom, you know, because I understand though, like, I guess if that's what you drew your line at, Drake being Drake, he took it to the courtroom because he didn't necessarily want the world to think he was a pedophile. So that was to me, I'm not going to be upset with him anymore for that because he doesn't want the world to think that's who he truly is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say about the 17-year-old on stage thing. I heard that it was consensual. I don't know if that makes things better. It was consensual between the father and the daughter and Drake is what I think I heard. I don't have no comments on that shit. I don't know. But I can't necessarily be upset with the fact that he's taking it to court. But at the same time, I was just like, that kind of waters it down a little bit for me. But hey, it is what it is.
Cool. Disrespectful.
So no, not disrespectful. Again, you're trying to mitigate how one perceives the disrespect. You don't have the privilege of doing that. If somebody, if I tell somebody, if I walk outside right now and I tell somebody SMD, I have to be ready for whatever. I can't be like, oh, I got a kid and you got a kid. Let's think about it.
Oh no, Drake was ready for them. Obviously, he's the one that said.
So then at that point, there's no more discussion. Let's meet up and die.
I get that, but here's the problem is now. The problem is now when this is a record that you are like grandstanding and this is a message that you are displaying to the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got your Super Bowl show and you got the Amazon show and now you're doing stadiums and things like that. And this is the record that is like, you know, that's where to me it's like, okay.
I just made a better record than you.
If that's the line you want to stand on, cool. I'm not, listen, it's a battle. We pick sides. Who you think won, who you think lost, great. I'm just saying now that all of that is kind of like over. Well,
would you feel the same way if Family Matters became what Not Like Us is?
About the line of Dave Free being...
He performing at the Super Bowl claiming that my kids ain't mine, his kids ain't his.
But I've said that. I was like, yo, he better have some information we don't have because that's crazy to put on somebody.
That's not what I asked you. What I asked you is, do you feel the same way if Family Matters becomes what Not Like Us is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
No, my moral compass is set to where it's set to. It's certain things to me that I'm just like, all right, like you gonna say that, you got to stand on that.
So you being from where you're from and me being from where I'm from, we have a certain level of, I call it texture. Which I don't necessarily know how to describe it. You can tell when somebody is not authentically of that texture because they.
Of what texture?
You come from a certain environment where you operate in a certain space, code of conduct. For instance, and I've spoken this, like, that's why I conduct myself a certain way. I can't get on the internet, on the radio, on television, and just crash out. I can't say what I want. That's another gripe I have. We can get to that later, but I can't just say whatever I want, because I have people that if certain people call my phone, I have to answer the phone. Like, there's no like, I have checks and balances, because I don't get the freedom to just say whatever the fuck I want to say, because I represent too many or certain places and people and individuals who look to me as a representation of them. It's not just about me. And so that's a different level of respect. Tenfold, there's another thing called, and this is why, I mean, I'm not gonna pick on y'all, but there's two things which I talked to Elliot about before. One is called journalistic integrity. I'm a professional broadcaster. I come from professional broadcasting, right? So we have to learn journalistic integrity. Like Rory I know he was joking, but like, yo, we don't fact check here. That brings up the second point of contention, which is called libel, which I'm pretty sure like Benner is familiar with or whatever. Libel is when you say or do things that are false or disinformation, misinformation that can lead to you being sued. Tasha K, right? So I conduct myself in a manner in which I always have those three things in the back of my mind at all times. I don't get the luxury of just freestyling speech and shit like that. So that being said, when you look at, like, your moral compass is set a certain way, mine is set a certain way. You can look at certain individuals and how they move throughout the game. It doesn't even have to be Drake. It could be other media personalities or streamers or rap artists or whatever. You can tell who never had to go to the park, or never had to catch the train, or never had to answer their phone.
Absolutely.
You can tell those individuals, right?
That's a fact.
So you can't be like, you can't make an accusation like Rory fathered Maul's kids. And just because my record wasn't bigger than yours, be like, well, you can't say that about me on your record. No, we meet up and we're meeting up and we're dying.
He didn't say he fathered his kids. He said, I heard he might.
I understand that. But the insinuation
but you know the difference though. As a journalist, you understand.
I'm not a journalist.
As a broadcaster, you had to learn certain things about what you say.
Yeah.
So if I say I heard that it might be, it's a totally different thing.
So when did he call him? When did he call him a PDF?
Okay, say Drake, I heard you like him young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. Fast forward, certified lover boy, certified pedophiles.
Yeah, there's a comma there.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles. Who is he talking to?
You tell me.
Is he talking to the certified lover boy?
You tell me.
Okay, I'm asking you because this is your record.
I was in my record. I wasn't there.
You play this at every party.
Not every party. I did a corporate event. I didn't play that.
Why not?
Because they wanted like 80s, 90s R&B.
Oh,
play a lot of bad
but if it wasn't, you would have played it. It's in your set.
I don't have a set. I read the crowd. I'm not lying to you. I've never prepared a set in 20 years. I crowd read. That's why radio's so hard for me, because I can't see people.
If you have 5 parties in the week,
I'm sorry, Maul is really taking some body blows here. DJ Head is really, standing on his business right now.
I'm gonna play the record.
Out of how many of them parties will you play that record?
It depends on the crowd. That's what I'm telling you. I'm reading the crowd. If the energy calls for it, then I'm not one of them DJs who make it about me. It's not what I want to hear. It's whatever the crowd is.
Okay. How many times have you played Family Matters?
Where?
At a party?
Probably once.
Okay.
Maybe.
Do you think it's a party record?
No, that's my point.
Yeah.
I don't think Drake was trying to make party records in this moment.
Okay, well, we're gonna move on to the last song, the last diss in this battle, Drake's Heart Part 6. Maul, you mentioned that the Heart Part 6 would age better than any other song in the battle. A year in, do you still believe it will, or that it has?
I said that it will age better.
Better than any other song in the battle. You said it was one of the best battle disses or rap disses of all time.
I still think that's probably Family Matters is probably the better song because of the beat switches and things like that, just the energy switching in that record. But Drake's rapping on the Heart Part 6, I mean, I don't know if people, really listen to that record. I still think that his rapping on that is incredible.
Do you think he misinterpreted Mr. Morale in his response to Drake as far as the pedophile angle went?
You said, do I think he did what?
Misinterpreted what Kendrick was saying on Mr. Morale as far as past sexual abuse in his family.
I'm not. No, I don't think so.
Because the idea of the record is that there was some type of sexual abuse in the past with his family.
Okay, are we talking about, because you said it was trash, are we talking about the Heart Part 6, right? I feel like the Heart Part 6 was not even close to anything that should have been like Drake's last song for the battle. I really was disappointed with it, honestly. I think I was just about as disappointed with the Heart Part 6 as I was with J. Cole dropping out of the battle. And the reason why I was so disappointed is because I just felt like he was giving up. Like, it just felt like quitter energy surrounded that track. Now, when Family Matters dropped, even when Push-Ups dropped, Drake was putting points on the board for me because I'm like, okay, he was putting points on the board for me that I had never had for him as an artist. And I'm like, holy shit, this dude is really coming for Kendrick's neck right now. But Kendrick always had a response. And I just feel like the Heart Part 6 was like, all right, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm bored. I'm getting ready to go do something else. You know, so it definitely wasn't something that I felt was a strong outro to all of this noise that we've been hearing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was just a very interesting battle, man. All in all, definitely wasn't a top diss track for me. Definitely wasn't the best outro. Yeah, let's get back into it though. Let me see what he's talking about.
Line. And because of that, his family thought he was touched, and he was saying, no, I was never touched. Like, I'm trying to tell you, please believe me, my cousin did not touch me. Drake took the angle after Not Like Us to take the pedophile angle to say that he was touched. And that is why he keeps bringing up pedophilia. Do you think there's any stat lost in completely misinterpreting what Kendrick was saying?
No, I think if you're gonna do that, if we're gonna fine comb misinterpretations throughout this whole thing, it's a lot on both. I
mean, we have on every record. That's why I want it to be. I don't.
Objective.
I agree with that.
I don't think he misinterpreted. I mean, if he did, you know, if Kendrick comes down and says, "Oh, no, that's not what happened," then okay, he did. But I think that Drake heard that record like we all did, and that's what he took from it, and that was the bar he came up with.
Do you feel that he waved the white flag at the end of the record?
Yes.
Waved the white flag? Again, I think that he realized what was happening. I think he realized, UMG's positioning in this and what they were trying to do, which is why he still has a case ongoing against them around the business that they did around the record. Not so much, Kendrick, but just what UMG did with that record and that messaging.
Well, I mean, Mo, again, I want to be objective here.
Shit.
Heart Part 6 came out 24 hours after Not Like Us, so I don't think we even knew what bots or what UMG was doing at that time. I think UMG even heard Not Like Us at the same time we did. So I hear you on the second part once Drake realized what UMG, because I've been on your side with that entire thing. At the end of that, I don't think UMG had anything to do with that outro. I think he was saying to Kendrick,
No, I'm not talking about waving the white flag, because I think it was more so like he understood that, all right, you want to have this back and forth. You obviously have this record. Okay, cool. You going to put out a record after I put out a record. I'm not going to keep, like, how long is this going to go on? Like, I could put out 5 records. You're going to put out 5 records. Like, we going to keep putting out records every week? I think at some point Drake was just like, all right, man, like, I'm not. If this is what your plan was to drop right after I drop, then cool, man, you got it. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and just drop records every 2 days and just go back and forth for the entire summer. I'm not gonna do that.
Ed,
What's the question?
thoughts? The white flag or response to what Maul had to say with the 5 records and constantly going, how long is this battle going to continue on?
Battle fatigue is a thing. I watch. I'm a big WWE fan. I watch wrestlers submit all the time.
Okay, so you think it was battle fatigue?
You think it was a submission?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to get hella deep because people they like to call me pretentious, but Damaris.
Is that what they say about you?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Damaris, let me ask you a question. When you listen to the Heart Part 6, is his energy the same as it is on Family Matters?
I'm choosing not to answer that question because this is completely between you guys, and me and Rory have decided to stay completely out of it.
Yeah, we're trying to get you
Because
guys to
we
argue.
have already, because we've covered this battle so much, there's preconceived notions about what sides we are on. So we're staying completely
Maul,
neutral in
do
this.
you
Yeah.
think that Drake's energy is the same from on Family Matters and on the Hard Part
It's not
6?
supposed to be. It's a different record. The energy of the record is different. The production is different.
I agree.
It's a totally different energy.
Do you think his temperament is the same?
Well, no, because again, it's a different song. I think that he's seeing what's going on. Like, he's piecing certain things together, like kind of trying to put the puzzle, like, oh, okay, this is what this is about. Like, oh, all right. So I don't think
Well, I think when it comes to that, and you have to like jog my memory with the song that Drake dropped in response to Kanye, or with a beef with Kanye. Like, jog my memory with that, because I'm more so I try to focus on albums, and I'm not gonna take that away from Drake. Drake has some pretty decent albums, definitely, but he just doesn't really like touch my heart with his music like a Kendrick or a Kanye does. And I know Kanye's tripping lately, but they still, those people like that, figures like that in music, definitely kind of get my vote. And I believe that when it comes to Drake, because I heard him take shots at certain of the legends. Like, I think he's taking shots at like Jay-Z, he's taking shots at a lot of people, but he does that to the people who he wants to be like, almost. Because I remember when Drake would drop certain songs and it would sound like a mirror of people who inspired him. Like that song Drake dropped, what is it? I better find your loving, something like that. Better find your heart. That was kind of, I think that was going to be Kanye's song, if I'm not mistaken. I was hearing through the grapevine that was just all Kanye's vibe right there. I don't know how true that is, but I heard like conversations of that being a Kanye thing. Like, that was Kanye's vibe even at that time. And Drake kind of absorbed that sound. So I think if he did drop anything against Kanye, it was definitely to just try to thwart the position that Kanye might have had in the game, and kind of do it in a very slick way. Even with Jay-Z or like Swizz Beatz or Common, like, people that he's had these quarrels with over the years, even with Pharrell and shit. I just feel like he's trying to smash down the lineage, the heritage of certain of our hip hop heroes. And I don't know if I respect that too much, but I guess that's just his angle,
Yes, his temperament is different on Hard Part 6 than it was on Family Matters, absolutely. But not due to battle fatigue or, anything like that. I think it's due to him, like, finally seeing, like, okay, I see what's going on here. I see what's happening.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into it. Because, this was, if anything, this was the battle that I was so, like, I was tied to this. Like, you could not get me off of this. I was hyped every time a track dropped. So I'm definitely gonna look into the Drake and the Drake and the Kanye thing, just to make sure I didn't miss out on too much of that.
I see what this is getting ready to. This is a leverage moment. Like, okay, I thought we was battling as just rappers and there was no business attached to this. I think he started seeing that, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I see what's happening here. Like, there's business being attached to this. Like, I wasn't doing this for business or trying to capitalize. He has, what could he capitalize off of? He's already one of the biggest artists in the world. There was no room for capitalization there. It was just like, all right, I'm having a moment with an MC I obviously respect, with a rapper that I respect. He has some words for me. I have some words for him. But I think that Kendrick's mindset was business. I think Drake's mindset was battle. And I think that's where the disconnect happened. And Drake walked away from, like, okay, you in business mode. PG Lang, getting it going. UMG is behind it now. Okay, I see what's going on. That's not why I engage in this thing. I engage in this shit as a battle, not as turning it into business and then getting, whatever Kendrick got from it. Which I'm not mad at. I mean, capitalize off the fucking moment as a businessman and as an artist. Cool. But I think Drake's mindset was more, this is just a battle of two of the best rappers and MCs right now.
I don't know if I agree with that because okay, if Drake is one of the most popular, most but like the biggest, most accomplished rappers, then he would have to have a leg up on the business side, right? He would have to know what it takes to grind your way to the top and capitalize while you're there and capitalize off a rap battle because he has done rap battles with Meek Mill, he's done them with who else did he have a rap beef with? I don't know. I just remember him pretty much whooping Meek Mill's ass in that rap battle. He like for Drake, that was crazy. And I was surprised then too. But I just think when it comes to capitalizing off rap beats or rap battles, Drake knows what he was doing. I don't undermine the human mind for 1 second. I feel like Maul is trying to paint this picture of Drake that is just so flawless, and it's just not really working for me. And I'm really a fair guy when I'm looking at this. I'm not looking at Drake like he just sucks and he's complete trash. I just think Drake wanted to capitalize off of this just as much as any other rapper would have wanted to. Simply put, because he's still kind of eating off of it. Even with the tracks that he dropped, it's some diehard fans that love his rap battle tracks geared towards Meek Mill, geared towards Kendrick and whoever else. So it's always something to capitalize off of in music.
Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah.
Like Rory said, the songs was just days of there was no business around it. Plus, that's not necessarily how the music business work. Rory's put out an album. You could probably, you don't want to talk.
Platinum.
Okay, fine. But,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I love that this is the example for everything. It's my album.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there's a lot of people who speak on the music business that don't actively participate in the music business.
Right.
That's not how the music business is set up. It doesn't work like that. You don't get to just dictate, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And there's whole departments of people that have to move and do shit when you do shit. The other part
You don't think Drake and Kendrick dictate?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you still have to, that still takes time. You don't get, you don't have to, it's not.
Or the label sees what's going on and they call you. Like,
who's
hey,
the label?
Anybody that works for the label that you're assigned to.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. That's not necessarily true. Because
what do you mean?
If I'm in the radio promotions department, I don't represent the label. I represent the records.
It depends on y'all. Some people work for the record label that are at radio.
No.
We know that.
They work for the label, but I'm not a representative of the label to I don't call you.
No, not publicly. No, but some people at radio are absolutely on payroll with labels. 1,000,000%.
I'm not saying
and you know that.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if I am in the promotions department, I don't get to call you and be like, yeah, so what are we doing with this record? That's not how it works.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm talking this is bigger than promotions department. This is bigger than that. I think that the higher ups saw what was happening with two of the biggest artists of their generations and was like, we need to capitalize off of this 1,000%. And nobody can convince me that did not happen. 1,000,000% that happened. We are going to capitalize off of this moment.
So you think there was an entire plot line
from maybe not from the beginning, but once it started, it was going.
When do you think that the label started to conspire?
I think that once the record started dropping, once we got the back and forth, like Drake dropped, Kendrick dropped, Drake dropped a day or two after that. I think that once they saw that, and then they saw what the numbers was doing on whatever was YouTube or whatever DSP, they was like, no, we're absolutely capitalizing off of this moment. There's no way the entire world is looking at this moment and the labels that these gentlemen are attached to in some way is not capitalizing off the moment. They're not going to fumble that bag. No way. Which is why you get the Amazon show.
Well, that's why you get the Amazon show?
Off the record. 1,000,000%. You think that people wasn't going to tune in and stream the first time Kendrick performed that record? Absolutely. Amazon didn't do that by accident. That wasn't accident. That wasn't just something that they absolutely was like, no, we need to capitalize off of this momentum. 1,000,000%. And and it's a smart business play. I'm not knocking it, but we're not going to sit there and act like it wasn't, a meeting and heads didn't come together and say, we have to capitalize.
You're saying that UMG was like, Amazon, let's do this thing.
I'm not saying that's how it went. I'm saying when they saw that momentum and they saw how big this is the biggest moment in hip hop in the last, however, maybe since Jay Nas, maybe even bigger than Jay Nas. There's no way you're going to sit across me and say somebody at these labels or somewhere else didn't say, we have to capitalize off of this moment. This moment is too big of a moment. We may not ever see a moment in hip hop like this again. And that Amazon or whoever else is not going to have a meeting and say, we need to capitalize off of this moment.
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at it, but don't sit there and say, nah, nobody had that talk. 1,000,000% they had that talk.
Yeah, I didn't agree
and
with
they
that.
should. It's about making money.
Yeah.
Just because you talk louder don't mean you're right. That's not what
That's not my intent.
That's not what happened. I can tell you, I was there. That's not what happened.
Of course you were there. I know you DJ'd the pop, but you're not gonna sit there and tell me Amazon didn't say, yo, we're not gonna capitalize.
When you say
moment.
Amazon, you're saying Jeff Bezos.
Whoever was in charge of putting together that show and streaming it on Prime, that's who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Bezos probably no, but he has a bunch of people that work under him that it's their job to not fumble that moment. Absolutely.
Or I'll run an or scenario by you.
Run it.
I pitch, you should do a show at SoFi.
Why? To perform Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers?
Sure, whatever.
Okay, cut the shit, bro.
To perform.
The record.
To perform.
The record.
I'll tell you, I actually pitched an idea for the actual music video.
Mm-hmm. Not like us.
Correct.
Okay.
It's like, hey, let's do, you should do it this way. Let's do a concert. Oh, yeah, that's what you think? Yeah, that's what I think. Little did I know there was already something in the works for a show, right? But it wasn't at the SoFi Stadium. Those 3 days.
What would you
coming
say?
up
Little did you know there was already something in the works.
And I'm going to provide you with another scenario.
Okay.
So there's this big grandiose mall conspiracy theory, right?
There ain't no conspiracy theory.
Well, okay, a flat earther theory that you have. Or it's like, hey, we need to do a show because we had a show already planned that I was supposed to do in Lamar Park for Juneteenth.
Respect.
Juneteenth is a historical black area in Los Angeles.
Lamar Park is a
We were already supposed to do a show for Juneteenth.
Respect.
That show.
Just want to pause real quick and say thanks for popping out through here. Thanks for anybody still attending in here. Shy, I know you was in here commenting. I appreciate you. Lalek, you was in here too. Appreciate you. If y'all can do me a favor, like this video. You know, I appreciate y'all. You know, saying anything. I appreciate you. But just like this if you can, so I can get in the algorithms. You know what I'm saying? Again, another round of applause. We're gonna keep it going though.
End up not happening. Dot was like, oh, let's say hypothetically speaking, he's like, well, let's just do our own show because that show fell through. Oh, they put together a show. Hypothetically speaking, that's a possibility, right? That bypasses a label. That also bypasses Jeff or whoever he has in place.
Head, can I just interject for 1 second? I'm not here to add an opinion, just add facts to it. Who was the head of Amazon Music at the time of the pop-up show? Because I understand you're bringing up Jeff Bezos. He's in space, but let's talk about who was actually on
he didn't go.
Earth.
His girl went.
Fair, okay. So who was the head of Amazon Music at the time?
At the time, it was Tim.
Tim, friend of the show. We love Tim Henshaw. That's our guy. Love him to death.
Do you know where Timothy?
Where is Tim from, and who did Tim grow up with?
Tim is from Compton. Who did he grow up with? What you mean? I don't know who he grew up with.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just adding in some context of what you're saying. No, Jeff Bezos wasn't involved in that. I'm just adding context. I have no dog in this fight.
Also,
I watched the pop-up, paid for it, loved Tim. Go ahead.
Yeah, but also there's also nuance to that, which is like, again, I don't speak out of turn because again, but there's also street stuff that is probably because I understand that where you're going with that, but there's also stuff that supersedes all of this.
And also, Tim was just doing his job in an amazing way.
Well, Tim also put together Incredibles, Dreamville Fest, the Drake
Everything he's done with
Drake and
Tyler
Kanye
lately.
show.
Tim is one of the best executives that we need in music right now. Love
Yeah.
Tim, but
Very
just wanted to add
very
that
cultured.
tidbit into this entire thing.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to my nigga Tim.
I think what Rory is saying is Tim was not going to miss a moment to capitalize,
As he
Off
fucking
of-
should, though.
which is my whole point that somebody somewhere said, guys, we have to capitalize off of this moment, which is what they should have done. I'm not
That's
mad
obvious.
at the pop-out show, but we not going to act like, and respect to Lamert Park, because I know Juneteenth, I respect it, because
we streamed there the year before.
that's why I said I already know that probably was a thing. But now that we have this moment, hey, let's capitalize off of this moment. Let's make it let's bring in a Amazon Prime and things like that and attach it to, let's get a bag. We can get people, let's highlight artists from the city. Let's make it a whole thing. Like,
Yeah, but
great.
it was, I guess the narrative, and this was made clear to us, even me and my group of guys, this is not an anti-anyone show. This is a pro-us show.
No, cool. And I salute to that. I'm not saying it was an anti-Drake thing. But that moment, that record, the battle, all I'm saying is let's not act like it wasn't big business that wanted to attach itself to that. Like, hey, I get it. Culture, battle, two of the biggest of their generation. We can't not capitalize, is all I'm saying. Somebody somewhere sat down and came up with a plan and said, we have to have this moment. We have to stage this moment. We need to stage this moment.
Okay, so Maul, just to clarify what you're saying and just put it in black and white. Are you saying that the pop-up does not happen if Not Like Us does not become the hit that it did? If
1
the
million.
battle doesn't happen?
No, it does not.
Okay.
Head, what do you think?
I disagree. I think it's possible. There's always, because you got to think, it came together extremely fast.
You know why it came together extremely fast?
Because we lost the Juneteenth in Lamar Park.
Right, but then that record, that moment, that battle happened, and it was the most talked about thing around the world. And somebody somewhere said, hey, guys, let's do this. Again, great business move by whoever put it together. Not mad at it. It's not an anti-show.
So do you share this sentiment if the idea came from Dot?
Of doing the show?
Mhm.
Whoever it came from, they understood the business that they could make out of it. I'm just saying that somebody somewhere used their brain and said, hey, we shouldn't just let.
But my thing is, what's his point of saying that over and over and over again? I think it's very obvious that whenever there's a huge song, there's going to be advertisers, promoters, all types of people reaching out, music supervisors, wanting to utilize what's happening in the music when it's doing something, when it's shaking and grooving and there's money being spent. Yes. Yeah. Like, I think that's exactly the case here. I don't think that that's off the table. I don't think that it's right or wrong that these companies or these businesses want to partner when there's something large going on in the game. I don't think I don't think it should be an issue. It's not like Kendrick Lamar got chose to do the NFL halftime show because of this. Like, I don't think that's the case. I think that it was already kind of he was already one of those top artists to be picked to do it alone, or alongside SZA. But the fact that this beef happened, it just really got the fire going, and they were like, oh yeah, okay, now we can get even more from it. So I don't know what the point is here, it's just, to me, Maul is trying to prove this point, but it just, to me, it proves that that Kendrick Lamar makes great music, no matter if it's a beef or it's just his regular catalog. He makes great music that's worthy of shows, sold out shows, sold out tour dates, and a halftime show on one of the biggest stages in the world. Like, I don't really see the point he's trying to make. I feel like he's kind of like just proving DJ Head's point, if anything.
Let these songs live on YouTube and just, not turn it into this grand moment. Like, we should absolutely capitalize, which is smart. Yeah. I'm just saying, I think one artist was thinking that way and the other wasn't. The other was just strictly because, again, what does Drake?
And that kind of falls into what Shy was saying. I'm pretty sure big companies probably reached out to Drake as well. I'm sure they did. I'm sure that there was some shit that came up for Drake. It had to be something that came up for Drake to take advantage of, but he was losing the battle, so he probably couldn't necessarily jump in there at that moment. But it's just a part of the game. It's a part of business, and you're not gonna tell me that one of the most business-minded artists, which is Drake, is not gonna have business in mind when he's beefing with an artist. You're not gonna make me believe that for 1 second. Because if Drake didn't think business-wise, he wouldn't be as big as he is. Drake knows how to listen to what's going on. He duplicates it in his own way. That's why he always gets flack for stealing people's sound. He knows what's finna be big next. That's a business move. He gets in there and he thwarts the competition so he can stay on top. That's a business move. That's a plan. So I don't know why Maul is trying to make it seem like, oh no, Drake's not about business. He just wanted to embarrass Kendrick Lamar with these rap songs, and that's all it was. No. I think it was all business related on both sides. Absolutely. What's the point of doing music in the first place if you're not going to try to get your revenue from it, especially nowadays with so many listeners in the world. So yeah, nah. Sorry, Maul. I ain't going for that.
Gain from turning that into business. Like he already has all of those things. He's top 4 biggest artists in the world. He stands to gain nothing from that, which is why, again, I respect Drake as a rapper and MC, because he can go into every battle feeling like, I have nothing to gain from this. What am I going to gain? The perception in the barbershop? Some people might feel like, yo, he got him. Like, what does he gain from that?
That's bullshit,
He stands more to lose regardless of who he's standing across, because he's already here for the last however many years he's been on top dominating music. So it's like, okay, but I'm a rapper, and if somebody comes at me, I got to stand on my pen.
To me, that's doubt.
Because it's like defending your title. If you got all these accolades, and you have this status, you have to defend it from who's next, who's coming for it. It's like John Jones with his belt. He got to constantly defend it until he can't no more. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same shit, bro, in my opinion.
What do you mean it's doubt?
Because if we're here at y'all studio right now, and let's say, I don't know, do you think that Rory can beat up Mike Tyson?
Beat him up as in a fight?
Yeah, in a fist fight.
No.
Okay. So if Mike Tyson comes here, he's outside and he wants to fight Rory, and Rory's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go outside. The perception is gonna be, well, shit, at least Rory went outside and took the fade.
Are you trying to say that Drake is not a fighter? He's not a rapper?
No,
He's
what
not
I'm
an MC?
saying is
Rory's not a fighter, so he should not go outside and fight Mike Tyson.
What I'm saying is you give people that ado when you already have a preconceived notion that they're the underdog.
I get what the point you're trying to make, but no. If I'm a rapper and I'm an MC, and this is just rap culture, and another MC comes at me, I would throw shots at me, whatever. Now, Drake is in the position where he doesn't have to respond, because he's already, he's been at the top of the mountain. Like, he can look down on everybody and be like, I'm not paying these dudes no mind. I can only elevate you, sir. I can only bring you up to where I'm at if I battle you right now. I have everything to quote unquote lose or whatever. I don't gain nothing by getting in this battle. Even if Drake, public perception, annihilates Kendrick, what does he gain from it? Is he going to sell more records? Is he going to stream more? Is he going to sell more tickets? Is he going to get a stadium tour? He already turned down the Super Bowl 3 times. What does he gain from the moment?
He might have got all of that shit, but it didn't go that way.
He already has all of that shit. What are you talking about?
Which stadium tour?
You don't think that Drake could do a stadium tour?
I didn't say that. I said which one.
Oh, okay. As long as that's not what you said.
Mo, do you think Drake's perception grew after he beat Meek?
His perception?
Yeah.
As a rapper.
As a rapper. Even after the ghostwriting shit, as an entity, as a brand,
I don't think
everything.
I don't think it grew. I think people expected. Meek is obviously battle rap tested. He comes from battle rap. We watched his progression from the corners of Philly to where he is today. So their paths were different. But in that moment when that battle happened, I don't think anybody thought Meek was a better rapper than Drake. So I don't think that his perception
Exactly.
changed. I think people respected it.
That's
Like,
my point, though, because that's why I'm really glad Rory asked that question, because it's something to gain. It's always something to gain from a rap battle, bro. Maul is trying to paint this picture like Drake just was just responding. No, he wasn't. Drake had everything to gain here. He had street credibility. You know, a lot of people don't already respect him, saying he's from the bottom. He's not from the bottom, so to speak, based off of what we deem the bottom to be. He's not from the bottom. So he has this extra, like, you gotta get the blackest artist in the game and defeat him. That's what he tried to do with Kendrick Lamar, and it failed. You gotta get the blackest nigga and try to put the fucking nail in the coffin with him to get everybody to respect you on that level, and it just did not work. Yes, he did, bro. That's what I'm saying. He fucked Meek Mill up, bro. He fucked Meek Mill up. We're not even gonna play like Meek Mill had a chance. Like, for some reason, I don't know why Meek Mill's pen went limp when it was time to, you know, get active with Drake. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. But I want to put out there that it might have just been a league of writers that helped Drake. I don't know. I could be wrong for that. It could have been a league of writers that helped the fuck out of Drake to beat and defeat Meek Mill. But whatever Drake wanted to accomplish at the end of that Meek Mill beef, the same as shit he wanted to accomplish with Kendrick Lamar. As simple as that.
like, yo, he's able to make these hit records. He's able to make hit rap records, R&B records, and he'll still get in the ring and rap with a quote unquote battle rapper. I think that it may have like show people like, nah, Drake is really about that, but I don't think it was much of a change of perception in Drake there.
So, going into this battle, from what you were saying
I
earlier,
think so. I think it was. I'm not really sure what the entire thing was about, but I'm sure that it's most of the time it's over a female. Shy, you know what I'm saying? It's most of the time it's over a female. Just to answer your question, because that's literally how it's been with Drake all throughout the industry, whether it's Future, Common, Swiss Beats. Whoever he's beefing with, it seems like it's a chick involved. And you know he fucked Wayne girl. Like Kendrick mentioned, he fucked Wayne girl. Damn. Excuse me. But yeah, he fucked Wayne girl and shit. So I don't know if he feel like he's collecting souls or collecting powers from fucking everybody's bitch. I don't know what he thinks going on, but whatever it is, bro, that's just his PowerPoint. He feels like that's where he has the most power at over these rappers. You know, I can fuck this nigga's bitch. He's taking that literal and he's doing that. And I guess people are just, I don't know, they're not okay with that type of shit, you know. Yeah, bro, it is. It's kind of corny, man. It's kind of corny. Like, you could have any chick in the world, I guess, but you want to fuck another man's chick. It's kind of weird. But I think it's also ego, pride, money, success. It's a lot of that stuff, man. And rap is such a competitive sport that it just kind of makes you, you know, see who's best in this way, I guess. So, yeah.
Do you think that people were under the impression that Kendrick was the underdog in this battle? Or do you think that people were under the impression it was an even matchup?
Nah, I don't think that people felt Kendrick was an underdog. Well, some people may have felt that way. But people that know rap and that listen to bars and skill set, they knew that Kendrick was well equipped to get in the ring with anybody in rap. Now, Drake is obviously the bigger artist, the biggest star in the moment, but I don't think that the people that really know rap felt like Kendrick was an underdog. No, I think they felt like Kendrick had more to gain. He had more to get out of the moment in the situation in Drake, because again, Drake has all of the accolades. He has all of the numbers, even though I don't care about shit, but I'm just saying, we're talking about when anybody.
Do that nigga have a Nobel Peace Prize? That's what I want to ask. Don't Kendrick got a Nobel Peace Prize for an album? I don't think Drake can make music that powerful, bro, to win a Nobel Peace Prize. You know what I'm saying? That's like a whole different caliber of artistry, in my opinion. And I mean, maybe some people would be like, well, what the fuck is a Nobel Peace Prize? What is this? It's an accolade. You know, it's an accolade. So I don't know. You saying what did Kendrick gain is what you're asking? Because I feel like Kendrick got just as much as Maul is saying Drake has. Kendrick has an authentic crawl to the top of his career where he's at right now. And I'm not putting nobody on a pedestal, but Kendrick Lamar has a very real way of presenting himself to the industry. And he does not let anybody tell him that he can't rap about a certain thing. He's always in his own lane. That's what I feel like he has that Drake doesn't have. You know, Drake doesn't have that. But I don't know. Man. That's just my opinion.
He has to win or lose here in this moment. What does Drake have to lose outside of, you know, calling me something that is the most egregious thing ever and then trying to defamate my character on a personal level? Cool, yeah. But as far as like accolades and accomplishments, Drake didn't stand to gain anything here.
Yeah,
If
I don't know, man.
Drake had annihilated Kendrick in this battle, do you think you'd be speaking this way? Because I think at that point we would put Drake at a god level tier as far as everything he's accomplished in music. If he would have beat
Is he not
one of
already
the
there?
greatest rappers that we've seen.
I don't
He's
think
got,
I
I
don't
know, but we're talking about the MC shit because
I don't-
I even think Drake was viewed as an underdog with the Meek thing just based off Meek's perception at the time. And the ghostwriting shit was going on. It was weird.
Oh yeah.
That made me
I
even
forgot
go,
about that.
damn, maybe you can't fuck with Drake.
So what's your question?
Do you think if he would have beat Kendrick, you'd be speaking this way that he had nothing to gain from it? I think there'd be no questions about
But
Drake's
Rory, you
jacket
talk-
for the rest of his life.
Again, you talking to somebody that feels like Drake won the battle because he has the better bar.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about a song and what it's streaming and where it's on the chart. I'm talking about the bars.
Okay, well, let me go off what social media and the perception was, just off algorithms and numbers. If social media didn't exist, and this is from somebody on Twitter at R9Hove, I thought this was a great question. If social media didn't exist and people just listened to each song, do you think there would have been a different result? I know your answer, Maul, because you already feel like
my answer because you know that it would have had. Yes,
So
absolutely.
I want to ask Head that question.
What's the question?
If social media didn't exist and people just listened to each song, do you think it would be a different result?
Not a different result. It'd be more even keel though.
So it's a different result.
No.
Yeah.
What do you mean, no, okay? What are you talking about? You said it would be more even killed, so that's a different result than what it is now because the result now is that it's not even killed.
No, the journey would be more even keel, not the end result.
All right, well, you just changed what you just said. You said the journey. Now.
Well, I was talking
Once you
about-
add the
Can you
journey,
elaborate more on that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so the end result would be the same if social media didn't exist, but also if social media didn't exist, that would have in turn disarmed Drake immensely. But it also would have lessened the expectation of Drake. Drake was the aggressor. He was doing a lot of taunting, a lot of memeing, him and Maul in collaboration, doing all of the
Social
extra.
media manager.
get that nigga.
Yeah,
Get that nigga.
yeah, they were doing it. Was so it's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Well, can I stop you? I don't know if he's aggressor after the Like That verse started everything, but
That's the way Head trying to paint it, man.
I'm not
Drake
trying
was
to-
on
Lamar was the
tour.
aggressor.
Drake was on tour. How was he the
That's a
aggressor?
fact. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to. I'm not.
That-
I'm
The
not
number,
that is-
doing
one,
this.
the
That's
number
just a
one
fact.
song he had,
Yeah.
J. Cole is bigging this guy up on the record with Drake. Put him in the big three. He was part of the big three, according to J. Cole, because Drake never felt like that. But according to
Again.
J. Cole, yeah.
You're talking about things that play out in public. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that you don't know what went on behind the scenes.
Some of it, I know.
Okay.
But I would never speak on
Why
publicly.
not?
Because there's certain things I would never speak on. It's certain shit I know right now that if I said right here on this platform, it would shake the entire industry up.
Same.
And I will never do that.
Same.
I will never do it.
Exactly.
Patreon.
So there you have it. So with that being said, with those things said and being not said, if Drake is the aggressor and Dot is counterpunching,
Mhm.
I think that the playing field will be more even keeled dependent because there's the lack of social media. He got a lot of blowback because it's like this big red button and like, oh my God. And then also like it was a lot of corny shit that was happening. Like taunting Ant. That's lame as fuck to me. Ant is like a Laker fan. He don't do nothing. He don't bother nobody. Ant is out the way.
Great person.
Ant is an amazing guy, right? That was lame and corny, right? I have a problem with bullies.
If you was from Chicago, would you feel like this? Or is it because you're from California?
No, it had nothing to do with that. I don't like bullies. I don't give a fuck where
No,
they're
but you being from California, you don't think that has anything to do with your stance on this whole thing? I'm from New York. I'm not from Toronto.
No, but I also think you have a different affinity for your person than I do. Like I actually
An affinity as far as what?
like
Personally?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So y'all, how long y'all been cool or friends?
Years.
Like how long?
First met Drake maybe 11, 12.
But how long have y'all had a rapport like you got now?
For a couple of years.
Like how many?
Maybe like 2 or 3 years.
All right, so y'all had a rapport for like 2 or 3. These are my friends for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I known these dudes for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the same thing. That's not music business. That's not anything. My answer would be the same no matter where I'm from, depending on if you're asking me an objective opinion about what's going on versus my friendships or my homies or whatever the case may
So there's
be.
a certain level of bias is what I'm asking you.
No, the bias comes from my relationship with the people, not what's playing out. I can call it straight. Like
But it affects it. Absolutely.
if you want to paint me with a brush, that's fine.
Because
But
what it really is we're more alike than we are different. You're gonna publicly, you're gonna ride with your people. But when y'all get behind closed doors, you're gonna say, yo, you was wrong.
no.
Publicly, you will never say it.
No. I don't believe it. See, I was taught that. That's one thing I do push back on the way that I was brought up amongst the people that I came up with is I don't believe in that right or wrong shit. If
What do
you're
you
wrong,
mean?
if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if we're out together somewhere and you're with your best friend of 20 years and he does something stupid,
It's happened.
he grabs a girl's ass in the club.
Yep.
Big fight happens.
Yep.
In that moment, you're gonna stand there and fight with your boy.
Am I?
One, hey, we're not doing this. Yes, you are. You're not gonna stand there. You gonna stand there and watch your man get beat up?
I would probably intervene in a certain way, but I don't think I would have the same energy had he not been in the wrong.
Okay. If your boy grabs a girl's ass and you DJing, your man next to you in the booth, he drunk, he grabs a girl ass, her man standing right there. They start pouncing on your homeboy. You gonna keep blending, nigga, or you gonna get in the fucking field and start helping your man that's they playing hopscotch on his back?
I don't think what I'm saying to you is I would intervene, but it wouldn't be in the same capacity.
What do you mean? So in what capacity would you intervene? Would you say on the mic, hey, guys, stop?
No, stopping something and de-escalating is different than acting, than getting in the field.
Okay, so if your boy was getting beat up based off the actions he did, are you gonna help?
This has happened before in my life.
Okay, so
and I de-escalated.
So your boy was getting jumped and you didn't throw a fist at all?
There was, I wouldn't say didn't throw a fist, but
Okay, all right, that's all I'm saying. Even if he was wrong, you're gonna hold your man down. But when y'all get back to the set, yo, you was wrong. You caused that whole fucking situation.
it doesn't go. It's not that's to me. That's a gray. That's not a 1-to-1 to me. It depends on what's going on.
I just told you, your boy does something crazy. He caused this
grabbing
situation.
ass to me is not the same thing as a scenario that I was in. You
Okay,
get
what's
I'm
the scenario you was in? Paint it for me.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Why not? We don't need the names. We just need the situation.
That's what I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's move forward. I have a question. You guys we brought up the internet and its effect on this battle. Both of you guys were heavy on the internet and involved in the cultural commentary when it came to this battle. Do you think that the cultural commentary that you both provided had any effect on the public perception of who won this battle? Do you think you guys moved any sticks or stones or moved any tiles any which way when it comes to these two artists?
Well, I'll answer first. I don't think anything that I said or did moved anything. I think that, people obviously look to my platform for any type of little tidbits that they could get. But as far as the result or people's feelings on the record, I think once you get the record, no matter what anybody says, I think people have their own, like, I like this record, or some people don't, but most people have that, I like this record, I'm fucking with this record, or not. No matter what an influencer or a podcaster says, I don't think that's gonna affect how somebody feels about a song that they're listening to in their personal time, in their personal space. But obviously people look to platforms to kind of get inside information and a little behind the scenes things that they can get. Again, there's certain things that I know that I would never say publicly. I would never speak publicly because there's a reason these conversations were private. But, I can speak matter-of-factly when certain things come up because I know certain things and, I'm privy to certain information, but I would never disclose that information publicly. I don't think my word.
Yeah, I bet Twitter was a terrible place. Shit, because Instagram was crazy. You know, Instagram be all over the damn place, but at this time, bro, Instagram was nuts. So I can only imagine. I don't be on Twitter, but I was on YouTube. I was all in the comments. I was on Facebook. Man, Facebook was even bad. Like every social media platform was crashing, bro. It was crazy. It was such a crazy time for hip-hop.
Or anything I said in that moment persuade anybody's opinions on the record that they got. I think that my words resonated with some people that heard the records and they felt the same way I feel. That I believe, but I don't think I swayed anybody's opinion or anything like that, no.
Okay. Head, what do you think?
I assume no responsibility for anything that's transpired over the last calendar year in hip hop.
It's interesting.
Your name, your name in that Rico or something out there, man. What's up, man? You all right?
Negative.
Crazy.
That's crazy to put on.
Yeah, that's
somebody.
crazy.
No. I asked
crazy.
the question. I didn't put it on you. I asked.
Okay, well,
No.
let me ask this kind of based off her question. Maul, you post on the red button. Head, the cryptic tweets, the way you, Daylight, and a few other people through that entire battle. You're not about to tell me that was just like, oh, I was just tweeting. Like, I feel like everyone knew what they were doing here.
And everybody was in
everyone was
contact.
looking for you for OVO stuff and you on the PG Lang, TDE, Kendrick side. You guys are both very intelligent. I feel like you guys knew what you were doing when you were posting those things. So you don't think you had any effect when you or Daylight or people we know that are close to the camps said something?
No, I know that people like I to be honest, you can ask my team. I was completely oblivious until like damn near until like Euphoria dropped.
Do you feel like you made it seem like you knew what was going on?
No. I was aware of stuff that was going on, but it wasn't like I was acting on behalf of anybody.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was aware. Like you gotta understand. Like that's why I was just trying to explain. Like I don't have to like certain people. I don't have to talk to them to know what they own. That's just a different texture. It's a different rapport that I have with people like that. Your camaraderie that you have with your homies. Sometimes you probably will sit in this chair and know what Maul is on before he even says it. It's just camaraderie that you build with your brothers. Like I don't have to talk to anybody to know. Like if you say if something happens, I wouldn't have to get on the phone and call nobody and be like, oh yeah, that's what he own. I already know what he own because I know him. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say like, oh, I don't know. And no, I had an idea, but I wasn't, at that point, I wasn't acting on behalf of anybody. I'm just like, yo, I'm not, also, let me back up. You got to understand, around the push-ups time, there was nobody defending the homie. I took that personal.
How so?
Wait, and what you mean nobody was defending
Yes,
who?
that's what I'm curious. What no one was
Other
defending.
rappers?
No. People who I thought would be boisterous and have
You talking about like people with platforms,
people
podcasters?
with platform, not even podcasters. Anyone with a platform who are with us, who came up with us, who are homies and friends and break bread with us, no one was saying anything. So I'm like, well, you know, I'll say something. Like I know, like, you know, this is what nobody was defending the homie. And I didn't like that.
But when you say defending him against what though?
The meme coin that is Drake.
So you didn't feel like anybody was defending Kendrick against memes that Drake was putting out?
Nobody was proactively saying anything about nothing. Everybody was just waiting to see. Like, nah, bro. Like,
but see, that's why I feel like this turned into a West Coast versus Drake thing.
no,
That's exactly what you're saying. Nobody's defending Kendrick for Drake posting a meme. Like, what would somebody say? Like, oh, Drake, you corny for that.
Well, as you know, there are conversations that happen all the time, but no one's emboldened enough to have an opinion of like publicly. Is what I'm saying.
I get that, but I mean,
Like, don't hide your support for me.
yeah, but I think people was waiting for the music to show their support, not show support against holding Kendrick down against a meme.
I'm not talking about the meme. I'm just saying, like, this is after the record already came out. You know him just like I know him. You know what's about to happen. Don't be back channeling and be quiet about your support.
Right.
To me, that's disingenuous. You know what I mean?
But do you think that also happened to Drake once the public perception went towards Kendrick? So I
What do
think
you
we're just talking about like wishy-washy people in general, that they're just going to go to whatever side is happening at the moment.
Agreed. Which is why I operated the way I operated.
Mm.
I'm not a wishy-washy type motherfucker.
I hear that.
You didn't think it was crazy at the pop out to see certain people on that stage that Drake has helped along their journey and that has publicly supported Drake stand on that stage and celebrate a song calling him a pedophile?
No.
You didn't think it was nothing crazy about that?
Mm-mm.
You ain't looking at nobody like, yo, but ain't that your man?
Nope.
All right.
Would you do that?
Do what?
If somebody had been your friend for, I don't know, 20 years, had met your kids, been in your house,
Mm-hmm.
and then someone else called them a pedophile that you don't even really have a relationship with like that, would you be dancing at a show?
It depends on the violation that person put me in that position.
Okay. Fair. We'll do that.
So
I mean, I don't know the relationship between LeBron and Drake for real. I don't know if he ever violated him. But
They gotta let Shorty talk, bro. At least one time. I've been waiting. I've been dying for her to say something. Like I might have heard her say something like 2 times. I want to hear it, like one of those well-structured questions from Shorty, bro. You gotta let her talk.
we're just speaking in hypotheticals now of all the people that we
Hypothetically.
saw there,
Yeah.
more or less.
Hypothetically speaking, if you violate me,
Okay. So we're just going to assume that a crazy violation happened between me and my son walking out with you at your LA show to then like a few weeks later, now I'm dancing with a mask on.
you're talking
and
about like
COVID
the
isn't
athletes
happening.
and shit.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about any specific people that I felt like
I thought
the
he was
West
talking.
Coast
He
was doing-
said. I thought he said on stage. LeBron wasn't on stage.
I meant just in general at the
He
pop-out
wanted
show.
to be.
Huh?
He wanted to be.
He was looking at Russell like, yo.
Yeah, Savannah was like, nigga, you ain't doing that. Like, no.
So to my point, not everybody's as invested as I am.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like Maul said, like he met him in 2012 and they got cool over the last few years. These are my people for 18 years. That's not the same thing, right? Let's start there. Second thing is you gotta look at LeBron. Remember at the top of the show, I said sometimes business is just business. Everybody that you sign to a record label or have on your album, you're not necessarily friends with. It's just, oh, this person fits on the project, or let's do some business, or let's make some money together. Whatever the case may be. That's not the same thing. So I'm just, hear me out.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if I don't owe you shit, I don't owe you anything. Like if I'm going to go to this poppin' ass concert, I'm gonna go to the poppin' ass concert. It has nothing to do with our relationship. Again, that's me being probably a little spectrum and being able to compartmentalize my relationships and my emotions. But I would assume that's the same thing for most people, or for a lot of men. Is being able to, hey, let's truncate our emotions and let's just go enjoy this show or whatever.
And I fully agree with that point there. And again, we're using the hypothetical.
He don't
what
agree
we know
with that. He
between
don't,
Bron-
Head don't believe that because he just said he was mad about people not showing their support publicly for Kendrick when Drake was dropping memes.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about athletes that he does.
No, you talking about people that he knows.
Yeah, for 20 years.
Oh, now you
And
put
I
years on
said,
it.
I just said it was
20
18.
years. What they both explained that LeBron has said out loud. He's been in my house with my kids. Like
Yeah.
they have a real relationship. I don't really know any real business they've done together outside of maybe both being signed to Sprite.
No,
But,
I'm not saying
like,
that they've done business like
I was
that.
using that as a hypothetical.
Me too.
Again, we don't know that. I don't look at Bron and Drake from what we know as they were a business relationship that had met a few years ago.
No, I'm not drawing that parallel. He introduced that, so that was a different scenario. What I'm saying is, overall, I don't think it's that deep for most people.
Okay.
I come from radio. The average listener don't give a fuck. They just want to hear a poppin' ass song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like on YouTube. If you like y'all have a pod. If you do a YouTube, you might see 50% or 48% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. Right. It's just passive consumption. So I don't think it's personal if LeBron or this person goes to the fucking concert, bro. Like it's a concert that they want to go be at and they want to have a good time. I don't look at it as me saying fuck you. It's just like this is a concert I want to be at.
Yeah, but then y'all was mad that Game wasn't there.
I was mad with
not Hugh, but a lot of people from the West Coast, a lot of artists, they kind of gave Game some heat online, like he wasn't there. He didn't show support for the West Coast and all of the artists collectively coming together and having a beautiful moment.
Who gave him heat online?
Everybody. Game addressed it. He spoke about it online.
No, but I'm saying who was saying that?
Oh, I'm just saying, I don't know who in particular, but Game obviously had some energy and some words coming his way, and he felt inclined to go on IG Live or post a video on IG explaining why he wasn't there. You know, he does what he want to do. Drake is his brother, whatever. Like, so obviously he felt some heat from him not being at that show. So again, there is a thing where people feel like, yo, like, I can't support that. Now Game may support Kendrick. He may love Kendrick, but he can't support that show because in that moment, that song, that message, and who it's going at, who it's attacking is somebody else who he has a fondness of or a brotherhood with, where he's like, yo, I can't support that. I love Kendrick. I love my city. I support my city, but I can't support that moment because that song and that message in that song is going at somebody, who I respect and who I have a love for, and I can't do that. So yeah, some people on that stage knew that they weren't supposed to be there, but you know, again, it's people looking for, you know, to capitalize off a moment. Like, you know, it's a streaming. We know how many people gonna be watching this. Everybody want to be seen, and you know, I get it, but you can't say that, you know, oh, I'll just, you know, it's the music and I could support how I want. There is a thing though where, yes, it is music, but I know this dude personally on a personal level, and I can't support that because me and him have a relationship where he's done, you know, we've done things for each other, showed my family love, opened his home to me, I've opened my home to him. Like this, so there's a certain thing where like I can't support that. I love Kendrick, you know, I love my city, I love a lot of those guys on the stage, but I can't be there because that moment is, you know, it's going at somebody who I also have a love for.
Yeah, that's everybody's choice to make.
No, but that's, I'm just speaking to, you know, the fact that certain people were there, and yes, they might want to just be there to support Kendrick, but you know what that moment it was about. And it's like, I can't, you know,
everybody can make that decision, but it was a lot of people there.
No, absolutely, there was a lot of people there, but a lot of those people that was there, they knew that it was like, yo, this is gonna look away. Like, I'm at this show supporting this record. The song is playing. I'm on stage dancing to it. I'm in the video. All of that, we know what that is. That's very strategic shit. That's very thought out shit. That's not just, I'm going to a show to have a good time. Because if I'm going to the show to have a good time, I'll be in the skybox and won't nobody know I'm there. But if I'm on stage and I start dancing and then at the end of the picture and all, I want to be seen. I'm here.
Well, to be fair, there's no skyboxes at the Forum.
Well, at the Forum, no. But I could have been in that building and not been on the stage is what I'm saying. Being on the stage is a statement. I stand by this. I support this message.
I know people that were on the stage that just got up there and they weren't trying to make a statement. I'm not going to speak for them, but...
That have a personal relationship with Drake?
They have a rapport, yeah.
Not a rapport, a personal relationship with Drake.
I don't know what the nature of the relationship is.
All right.
Moving forward, and we're going to wrap this up soon. Head, I have a question. Maul went viral a lot. Both of you did, but Maul has this type of platform, so he really went viral a lot with a lot of clips talking about Drake in the battle. What was your perception of Maul and the clips and the messaging in those clips? Off first look, not now.
What do you mean, like back then?
Yeah, back then. And you can be honest, we won't jump you.
Yeah, your man Jeremy has some slick shit to say.
Well, there was a lot of people. Well, if I'm being honest, I don't personally give a fuck. Like, I don't ingest other people's energy like that. Like, I don't, like, I just don't. That's not really what I do. But there were a lot of people who felt the way.
Why would they feel away? Was there anything he said that was a violation or over the line or anything crazy?
I don't remember everything he said. I remember there was one thing in particular where people...
I don't know, man. I feel like Maul definitely got like some real anger towards the situation. Like, he acting like Drake won't fuck his bitch too. He acting like Drake won't get that nigga a reason to hate his guts too, bro. That's what I don't like. It's like everybody that Drake is around ultimately kind of gets hurt by him in some kind of way, bro. So you gotta really be careful. You only known him. I mean, he known him what? He said that they met in 2012. So no, that is quite some time, but still, bro, he can hurt you still. You know, it's opportunity there. So you got to be careful, first of all, you know. But I don't know, man. He definitely sounds hurt. He sounds very hurt for Drake.
I think someone had made reference. Somebody said, I don't remember what you said, but there were people that were upset with what you said. I wish I could remember the context, but it was just like, because you come off as very delusional in the way that you approach your
Shy said that
like
too.
your argument.
I love that.
Yeah. I actually envy it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love that I come off delusional because I know exactly what the fuck I'm saying and why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
But again, I can't speak on certain things publicly. So
Why do you feel he comes off delusional?
And were all of these people from Cali that felt like that?
Nah. Well, you said why?
Yeah.
Just very like, some of the stuff is very far-fetched and Narnia-ish.
What's far-fetched that I said? Hey?
Yeah, such as. So you're saying you don't remember what he's saying.
No, I don't
but
remember
if
what he
you're-
said. Like, for instance, like the thing you said today, like nobody can convince you otherwise
About what?
about your stance on
Who had the better bars?
who won or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, like for instance,
But why is that delusional for me? And it's people that write music and rappers that rap at a very high level that feel the same way. So
to me, that's just not a very whole human. Fuck music. Anybody who has a stance that you can't convince me otherwise of anything, no matter what you present.
No, not anything. I'm talking about these bars that you can't convince me that.
So what I'm saying is, as opposed to having that approach, the approach will probably be, present it to me and I'll make an assessment. You shutting down the presentation of any assessment, to me, that's more of a personal thing than it is a rap thing.
Yeah, he feel hurt. He hurt.
Me shutting down
Like you saying, nobody can convince me otherwise, no matter what.
that
You're shutting down any and all energy.
that Drake didn't have the better bars?
Correct.
Yeah, because I listen to the music.
That's your.
And I trust my ear and my brain.
I feel you, but that's just not where I am. So that's just what I
Okay,
said.
so do you feel that if somebody doesn't have the same opinion as you, they're delusional?
No.
Okay, so I guess I'm trying to figure out exactly what you're saying.
So what people feel
Because
like
me and Maul disagreed, but we talked it out. I mean, of course, the clips went viral, but there were 45-minute conversations with that entire thing.
Yeah.
So even if we disagreed, I didn't think Maul was delusional and not hearing me. I just felt that's how Maul felt. And music, to me, I don't think you can be
Well, I don't
delusional
remember
because music is like food. It's
it's
whatever
only
you're tasting.
delusional because it wasn't resonating with what other people felt in the battle. That's what's delusion. Because if I was saying, yo, Kendrick is smashing them,
But
everybody be like, yo, that nigga Maul know
for
what he's
sure.
talking about.
And other people's other people, social media, we can't. I'm more, I guess, asking Head what you mean by that. Like, I don't know if he didn't receive information. I just think that's how he felt the same way this way you felt.
No. I'm not saying it in that sense. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, to me, like creating a world in which no one can pull you out of, no matter what it is. I don't occupy that space. Like I'm willing to like I've had conversations with like skinheads, like Aryan Brotherhood, neo-Nazi motherfuckers, dudes with like swastika on their necks, and they're like, I don't like this group of people. I don't like black people. It's like, for me, I want to know why. And not necessarily for them to change my mind on how I feel, but I'm open to any possibility. Him saying there's nothing you can do to me shuts down the realm of any possibility.
I said it was nothing you could do to me.
Head, is there anything anybody can do to convince you that Drake won this battle?
Present it to me. I'm open to hearing it.
But
Have you heard Family Matters?
You've heard all that.
That's not a good enough.
You don't think Drake rapped better than Kendrick on Family Matters than Kendrick on Not Like Us?
No.
You think Kendrick rapped better?
No, but I'm willing to receive presentation.
Do you want me to play it?
No.
So the purpose in us asking these follow-up questions is, I get what you're saying, where you can say that someone's delusional if they can't be convinced of something and they're shutting down all outside perspectives. But in a rap battle, there's only the bars and the music. So if you've heard and dissected both songs, just because someone, are you saying that if I brought up the lyrics to a song you already know, you've already heard, and present them to you differently, there's a chance that you would change your mind about this battle? You think that that's possible?
That's possible. Anything's possible, but that's not what I was making reference to about delusion. It was a thing when I was saying I couldn't remember. Like when you asked me before, like, has he said something? He said something that made me think he was delusional before.
Okay.
I wasn't making a reference to right now.
Damn, I wish you remember.
Yeah, I'm curious what it was.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
what I said that seemed like I'm delusional.
Just because you asked me,
Because we know each. You know me. Like so before this battle, have you ever thought Maul's delusional?
Yes.
When?
Bro, you want me to recall
Yes.
shit on this? Okay, well.
If I said I think Head is delusional, I can tell you why I think.
Okay, well, I'll recant it because I can remember right now.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know for sure.
We do have access to the two viral clips of Maul. If you'd like us to play them and see if you find a delusional moment in them.
No, I mean, I don't. He asked me from before too. Like there's been several moments where I was like, oh, that's kind of out there.
Okay, that's fair.
But does that warrant the word delusion? Because there's a lot of things that I've disagreed with plenty of people, but we just have far different opinions on this. I don't view that as delusion. To me is a pattern amongst your entire life.
No, delusion.
Then it is based off something we disagree with and can't come to terms.
Delusion as in reality adjacent.
But that has to be a pattern, because there's some stuff that is probably reality adjacent to me, but it's few things. Like, it's not a pattern with me where everything is that far fucking fetched.
Yeah.
But there's certain topics that I do feel that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call somebody that delusion. If that is a significant thing that is in your life with everything that you face, that's delusion. If somebody said, yo, I think Nas won over Jay, and I start breaking down every fact that Jay said in Takeover, and it being The Doors being a better song, and they were like, nah, I like Dick Sucking Lips better. I'm not going to call him delusional. We just disagree there.
That's a fair statement. That's just, like you said, it's subjective.
Yeah. I just feel like
delusional.
Oh my God, we gonna hang on this.
It's a strong statement.
I just want to know if you still think I'm delusional.
I will go back and look and try to figure out where I had those thoughts. It's been like two or maybe three. I don't know. And I will find them and I'll send them to you.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
That's a bet.
To close out, thank both you guys for this. I think this was actually good. I feel like this battle has put stan culture in a different light for me, and I don't think either of you guys are that whatsoever. I think the reflection of what happened in this battle made Eminem's Stan song seem normal. Like lock-haired girl in a trunk before what I've seen on this fucking timeline.
Yeah.
This battle turned the world into a very weird fucking place. I thought this was gonna be the greatest thing ever for hip hop, and I feel like it may have been the fucking worst. So to see you two sit down and just chop it up for the year anniversary, I do think this is important. Not that the stans have any sense whatsoever. That's delusion to me. Is the OVO community and the TDE community, that's delusion.
Very much so.
So I don't think they're gonna look at this and be like, oh, two people can just talk and like everything be fine. Like we could just have different opinions. So I think this was great. And I wanna end it with positivity. Maul, say something nice about Kendrick Lamar.
You said what?
He already
Say
did.
something nice about Kendrick
He
Lamar.
already did.
Say something nice about Kendrick?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like I've always said
He already did.
what? I didn't even say nothing yet. Why y'all laughing? I've always throughout this entire, year that we just came through. I don't think I've ever, or it was never my intention, but I don't think I've ever said it. I never downplayed Kendrick's skill set, his ability, his status as an MC, as a rapper.
Not my question. Say something nice about Kendrick Lamar.
Like what? I don't know him personally.
Saying, yo, I didn't downplay you is not saying something.
Him as a rapper.
Him as a, whatever you,
I don't know him as a person, so I can't say.
As a rapper.
He's one of the illest, but I've always said this. He's one of the illest. He's one of the best of his generation. Like I went to the Mr. Morale show with Rory.
Yeah.
Said it was one of the best rap shows I've ever been to. Kendrick's stage performance has gotten a million times better. He's a star. Like I've said all of these things already, but because in the battle I wasn't on the side of thinking Euphoria or Meet the Grams was amazing, people feel like I hate Kendrick. And I'm like, yo, did y'all not just see everything I said about him when Mr. Morale came out? And I said the album was incredible and he could probably turn that into a Broadway play because it plays like a playbook. Like I said all of these things about Kendrick. I fuck with Kendrick. I think he's amazing. I just think that in this moment, he said things that's kind of like, that's a little crazy to say that, put that on another man. I don't like the record. Not saying Kendrick. I've never said Kendrick isn't dope and he can't rap. You will never find me anywhere on the internet saying that. So, I mean, something nice about him, yo, keep fucking putting out dope ass bars, keep putting out dope projects, like keep doing your thing on tour, like do all of that. I wish you stopped performing that fucking record. I think that's crazy. You don't need to perform that record. And that's, to me, it's like you're making that a point to perform that record because his catalog is dope. He doesn't need to perform that record. But, you know, I get it. Have your victory lap. But I just think that at some point, you got to get away from that record because that energy, that message is like, that's disgusting to be out there rapping or even saying that word on stage every night. Like, I've seen the Jay Nas battle, Kiss and Beans and all these dudes that I grew up listening to. That's never a word anybody ever even threw out there. Like, you don't play with that word. So I come from that. So that's why I'm always speaking to that. Because it's like, yo, you heard what you just said about this dude? Like, that's a little, you throwing that on a man's jacket is the worst thing you can put on somebody. So to me, I just don't like that. I don't like that message. How Head said is certain things he just don't feed into. That's not his frequency. That I'm just like, all right, once I hear that, I'm not even listening to that no more. You know, that's me. And I'll stand on that. But as far as me saying something nice about, Kendrick is amazing. He's an amazing artist, amazing, phenomenal rapper. And I'm looking forward to hearing what else he got for us. Like, I don't have nothing negative to say about Kendrick other than that Not Like Us record. To me, I hate it. I don't like it. And I think that Drake had the better bars in the battle. I'll stand and I'll die on that.
Okay, I appreciate the final thoughts. And I agree with a lot of what you said. Maul, can you say something nice about Kendrick Lamar?
He says
Kendrick is a phenomenal rapper.
He says something.
He's a phenomenal MC. He makes good music. Like,
Maul, thank you.
He has a great stage show. Like,
thank you for your candor.
Yeah, like, what do you want me to say?
DJ Head, can you say something nice about Drake?
You still one of them ones, King. Let this shit go. Get back to the rap.
Real shit.
No
DJ
Head,
Head,
on Spotify.
can you say something nice?
I just did. I said you still
without saying something negative.
You still one of them ones, bro. Do you?
I don't think the therapist would accept it, but it's
What
fine.
you mean?
Do you?
Yeah, like, no, give him pushback the way y'all gave me pushback.
I didn't give you any pushback. I think you did an amazing job. And
Do you is not a compliment.
Yeah, do you? He's been doing him. You mean do you?
that
No,
is
he should be telling Kendrick to do him and stop performing Not Like Us. Say that.
I like the record. Though.
You don't like that fucking record.
I don't like the record.
No, you don't. I've been to your parties. I know the shit you play.
Which party you come to?
You don't think I've ever been to parties that you DJ'd? Are you high
Which
right now?
party?
I've been going to your parties since probably 2014, 2015, 2016. What are you talking about?
I don't DJ that many parties.
You've DJ'd a private party I was at in the hills at a house. What the fuck are you talking about right now?
Did I play the record?
No, this is years ago. This was before the
And
record.
I've been with Maul at parties that you DJ.
Really?
Yeah, what the fuck are you? What the
know what
fuck
you're
is he
talking
talking about right now?
Listen, I don't have a good memory. I don't.
Hey, you don't got to remember, but you remember every fucking
Your
thing.
name is
Kendrick.
DJ Head.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah, this is trauma.
See?
So let me do my nice thing again. Go back to 3 or whatever.
Do you guys have any final thoughts for each other?
Oh, okay.
Final thoughts for each other?
Yes.
I mean, shout out to Head, shout out to everything that you're doing. Somebody that I've supported and I've had, I like everything about you. Anytime we've ever met and seen each other in LA, it's always been nothing but love and respect. Love the space that you're in now. Shout out to you. Shout out to West Coast Wilson. Jeremy has some wild shit to say. Fuck Jeremy. Nah, I'm just joking. I don't know.
And shout out to Jeremy. Submitted a few questions. A lot of stuff was already aligned on, but shout out to Jeremy. Shout out to
Gina.
Gina Views.
Shout out to Gina.
Views.
Gina, we would love to have you on the show. If
Hold it down for the black women.
Yeah, I love everything that you got going on. And I love the fact that you always keep it Cali. And I respect that. You know what I mean? Like you stand on where you from, you rep your city, you rep it proud.
Well, I got on my uptowns right now.
Well, because you out here and you're in New York, you had to put that.
I did notice that you were wearing Lakers, and I saw the uptown. I thought he tried.
Well, this is because we lost. We got bumped the first round, so this is kind of like just my
homage.
Yeah, like it was better days at one point. Right now, we in a little bit of a funk. But shout out to Head, shout out to everything you're doing. And yo, man, this last year it's been fun to, watch the West Coast celebrate and all the artists, pop out and perform. Like it's been fun to see a lot of guys get some time to shine and get some, light put on them, because it is a lot of dope talent out of California that I think a lot of people kind of, don't get a chance to really tap into.
I agree.
And I respect Kendrick for taking that moment and sharing that moment.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Sharing that stage and sharing that platform with other artists. Don't like the message that it, sent at my boy, but either way, love the fact that the city came together, love the fact that the culture came together for a night on stage, and it was dope. I think anybody from anywhere has to salute that and respect that. So yeah, man, shout to you and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Had any final thoughts for Maul?
Yeah, thank you for having me on your platform, for inviting the conversation. Shout out to what y'all have built post-battle. And that was
I know.
That was a shot.
I caught
that was a what?
That was a shot.
No, I wasn't a shot.
I was just
yeah.
it was rap. It was hip-hop.
Yeah.
Temperature may be different over here. It felt like a shot over here.
I was like, I got shit was built pre-battle.
Let's not act like,
You ain't built too.
you ain't built off the battle too. Like,
No,
come on.
he's not.
I wasn't talking about
He's not
that.
talking about that.
Oh,
He's
okay.
talking about something.
All right.
Making shit. No, we not moderators anymore. Paper's been away. It's time now. Let's pop.
I got exactly what he was saying.
I respect it for sure.
Yeah.
And also I think like being able to navigate this space and stand on opinions, no matter how
Delusional, I seen.
I didn't say that.
I know. You can say it.
No matter how wild they are. And also, I'm gonna share something with you.
Yeah.
You being a New York native.
Yeah.
I respect you being a Lakers fan.
Ugh. Just that's something I don't respect about Mo.
Our entire production team was like, okay, let's not do this.
It doesn't matter about it. You told me, you asked me, for my words.
Let Head have his words, man.
I respect you being a Lakers fan.
Absolutely.
And, when the time is right, I'm pretty sure you'll probably, make the move as well.
To LA?
So
nah, I can't live in LA, man.
So I'm just saying.
Taxes.
What?
Trying to get away from them.
Well, I wouldn't say that on camera.
Oh no, we're gonna actually move to a state that the IRS is telling us to move to.
What are we doing here, guys?
This state
It's not
we can
Cali,
move
New York
to.
too.
Tax evasion is a felony.
No, not evasion.
Not when you
I'm
move
not
somewhere
evading.
else.
Tax deference is legal.
I just live somewhere where there's no taxes. That's all.
Got you.
180 days.
Yeah, that's it.
We're going by the book. IRS is
Damn,
not.
Well, I have nothing else to offer. That was crazy. I'm trying to get away from these taxes.
Yeah, that's it. I love LA. That's like one of my homes, man. I love LA. Shout out to LA, but I can't live there.
Oh, also I'll give y'all a compliment too. I've actually had this conversation internally with a couple people. Y'all's live show is really good.
It's the greatest live pod,
bro.
period.
Y'all live show is really
Appreciate it.
good because a lot of people don't have as much crowd interaction and engagement as you guys do, and that being the cornerstone of your live show.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. People are so vain, they think they just want to sit there and watch you talk.
Hell no.
2 hours.
I don't wanna do that.
And
God, no.
Y'all live show and the way that y'all curated that is stellar.
Yeah, I mean, we
Appreciate
we're gonna give the people the opportunity to talk shit to us and say we ain't shit and this, that, and the third. All right, so then you say something. Let's see who you are. Like that's what the whole premise of the
But I
live show
respect
is.
it. I remember when I went to go see y'all live show in LA, I was like, damn, this shit is good. Cause y'all like most people don't understand live versus pod.
Right.
So
Right.
And what sucks with the live shows though is that when we go to LA, we have to pay New York tax on what we make on the live show. Then we have to pay California tax on what we do with the live show. So as much as the live show is great, man, fuck them live shows.
Yeah.
Entertainment tax. I don't even know what the fuck that was.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
hey, I don't
I don't even know tainment.
Yeah, like, who was that?
I don't have nothing to do with that. You might want to holler at Eric Garcetti. I'm sorry, Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Last nerdy question, real quick, even if they cut it. Do you still stand by your tweet that
He said they like he's not they.
No, I'm a nerd. That's why I'm asking the question.
He ain't there.
Do you think that every hit record needs to be at 101 BPM post, not like us?
No.
That was the only egregious, delusional tweet I think I've ever seen from you.
What did I say?
You said, everyone gear up. If you want to make a hit record, it has to be at 101 BPM. And
That's
this was
not what
coming
I
off Hit
said.
Like Us. Someone pull it up.
Pull up the tweet. I'm very,
Type in
I'm
DJ
very.
Head 101 BPM.
As a DJ, have you any event that you've DJ'd recently? Have you played Nokia?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played it when I went to London.
It's great. I mean, yeah, in
Yeah.
London, that's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, the girls love that song.
Yeah. Been a great conversation. It's good to see you. And let the West Coast know it's still all love over here. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you let them know, because I don't think they know.
It's always love. It's always love. I love LA.
You gotta come let them know.
Absolutely. I gotta come to y'all show, man. I gotta come kick it with y'all.
Come pull up.
Talk some shit with y'all.
Yeah, thank
All
y'all
right.
for having me. It's New Rory and Maul.
I'm that nigga. He's just ginger. Peace.
No worry and mouth.
Man, give him a round of applause, man. That was a hell of a conversation, bro. Yeah, I respect that. I respect two different sides of the, like I said, hip hop commentary spectrum to come together and hash out. I don't even know if they hashed out differences, but they pretty much just gave their opinions and spoke firmly on their position. I don't, what I'm saying, like, I don't have nothing against Drake, bro. I'm just not that drawn to his music. I like what he does. But Kendrick, I feel like me and him kind of, like, me listening to him, we came up. Like I watched him come up, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, man, I guess yeah. Shout out to you. I appreciate y'all again, man, for even tapping in and coming in here for real, man. That's kind of dope that y'all sat with me damn near the full 2 hours of this shit, man. It was two plus hours of this shit for real. Look, we going on 3 hours, but yeah, I'm gonna probably of course let y'all go free, man. I don't want to hold y'all back, for doing what y'all need to do today, but yeah, it was dope, man. I love sitting down watching long form content that interests me. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's music related, hip hop related. It's just dope. You know what I'm saying? It's just real dope. And I love those types of conversations that people can give you something to think about. So that's exactly what this was. Anyway, man, for anybody out there who's seeing this video, like, share, subscribe, do something dope, man. Love yourself, take care of yourself, you know what I'm saying? Leave a dope ass comment and just pay attention, watch the video, leave some feedback, and shit, have a good life, not just a good day, you feel me? Y'all know who the fuck it is. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all get the fuck on, man. Peace out.